Told y'all I'd be back. I guess I should do my. Okay. Yes, so I should definitely do that. Or, I don't know, Tuesday. Right. Um, let's do that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Oof, let's see. Well, uh, ooh, of course, this land is dangerous. All of these animals are capably murderous. Hey, Ken's color box. When I was a boy, my big brother held on to my hands, and he made me slap my own face. I looked up to him and still do. He was trying to teach me something, and now I know what it was. Now I know what he meant. Now I know what it is. Oh, 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 oh. One must be the other. I'll say. Whereas me pour it, put it right into his mouth. While as I say, communion is movement, a sensation not unlike slapping yourself in the face. It's like slapping yourself in the face. It's like slapping yourself in the face. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I am Cassandra Faye Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates, founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. Uh, and I'm back up in here. Okay, I had a good lunch. You feel me? And now I'm revitalized. I am renewed. Okay. All right, so let's get back up in this. All right, so I know it was taking a long time to finish this reading, but let's see. Lunch was awesome, actually. It was homemade kitchen cacciatore with a spinach salad with craisins and raspberry vinaigrette. You feel me? And what else? And fresh rolls. Yes, it was quite lovely. I do say so myself. I feel refreshed. Feel like somebody care about my life, child. Care about my life. All right. Okay. Um, so housekeeping, reiteration. I'll type it into the comment section of the YouTube while encouraging you guys to become paid subscribers to the YouTube channel. In the meantime, let's see. EvoEme. Let me do it like this. To make a Zelle or PayPal donation, you can use the temple's email address, which is EvoEmeTemp@gmail.com. If you would like to send a Cash App donation, that is $ daughter of the Fates, Fates. If you would like to send a Venmo, that is Cassandra Floyd. That is Cassandra, Cassandra. DaughterOfTheFates. If you want awesome stuff made by yours truly, jewelry, spiritual tools, meditation wands, the like, or if you want awesome downloadable books or dope fly ass jewelry, these feather earrings I just made the other day with cute little, I don't know if y'all can see them, the cute little big silver, old kind of Western style beads. And these big white feathers, I try to wildcraft most of my feathers. So these are wildcrafted, meaning wildcrafted me. I went out somewhere and picked them up off the ground. So there's a place where there's a bunch of white ducks that are shedding frequently. And so these are duck feathers. There you go. Boom. Just made those the other day. Hope you can see them. Those are cute. I love these little fat silver Western beads. So anyway, you can get you some fly ass jewelry. And you can do that at Daughter of the Fates.etsy.com. And I think some of you have been seeing that they have finally let me link my Etsy store to my lives. So I've actually seen it'll come across either the bottom or across the top, a cute little bar. That bar that comes up is typically the link to my store. They just allowed me to start doing that last week. So that's nifty. And I've noticed the difference because several of you have gone, it's a direct link to the conspiracy, the global conspiracy to right all wrongs. So that's dope. All right. Is that everything? Oh, and I will come up with a link before day's end. How I'm gonna do that. Also, if you go into the description box below this video, there is also a link. I still have an active GoFundMe. This situation has been ongoing for some time. And so I still have an active GoFundMe. The link to that GoFundMe is in the description box below. But let me see if I can retrieve really quick the link to put in the the link to put in the comment section. When I was a boy. All right. I'm still so much out there. I'm still trying to figure out. It's been hard getting in touch with classmates. I think I told y'all a few weeks ago that I was trying to get my transcripts from my graduate program and didn't receive no mail, nothing, no emails, no updates. I still have all my same emails and hadn't received any info that the school where I got my master's degree and my second bachelor degree is closed. So I'm trying to figure out how I can still get my transcripts from a school that is no longer open, but it was accredited when I went, so I should still be able to qualify to sit for the boards. And so not only did the school close, but I need to figure out, my homegirl was saying that several of the students were talking about filing a class action lawsuit against the school. And I'm like, I need them details, man. It wasn't just, student loans and grant money. It was 5 years of my life, that graduate program. Anyway, so yeah, a lot happening. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to try to be a little bit more disciplined about going off, but the going off that I did to me was profound. Okay, so I'm going to finish the rest of the first card that I pulled for y'all, which was again the Five of Stones, the giveaway, right? So the last thing that I left off on, but before I went down a rabbit hole, was did you hold back your talents, abilities, or true convictions from the material world with which you were working? Don't get attached to this temporary poverty role by adopting a poor me attitude. Reevaluate your position. Take stock of your current resources and review the lessons of the stones up until this point. It is time to exert a mental discipline and the first mental discipline is to appreciate yourself. Practice contentment. With what is. I don't accept that. But again, the disclaimer is this deck was written in 1972. I love the deck, but some things I do not agree with, and I will tell you what those things are. Practice contentment with what is. That ain't nothing that I would counsel you to do. That's not something I counsel the two women who. That is not what I counseled them to do. Honey, we are not rats in a hope experiment. So that ain't no shit you'll have me telling you to do. Practice contentment with what is. You understand? With what is what is destroying us. So yeah, that ain't no shit you would have me do. There is a way to be grateful for what you currently have while expecting more to come. But to be content is a trap. Are you content with the way the world is right now? Any of you? Is anybody up in here content with the way the world is right now? That is not something I would advise anybody. Okay. I would say that the first, quote, mental discipline of this card that is about the great giveaway is to appreciate yourself. So the second time I pulled this card this week for people that I read for, because like I said, it's rare. First of all, it's rare that this card comes up anyway. But this card coming up twice, literally in 4 days, and then this is the third time. So this is the third time I pulled this card in 3 readings. Okay, and so the card on a one-on-one basis is about this momentary period of loss, trying to see it in a different way. That's why it's called the giveaway. Instead of seeing it as a loss, seeing it as a giveaway. You have given away something you no longer needed, the loss of a job, the whatever, to see it as a giveaway that's, quote, clearing the slate for new and such. You feel me? For new opportunities, but you have to see it in a way that gives you control, that allows you to reclaim control over what is. Now, as a group, because I'm doing this reading for the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, as a collective, oh my God, as the new fascists, right? The fascia that we talked about right before I got up off of here, right? The bundles of seeming individuals coming together on one accord and with one purpose. You feel me? Moving as one, though we are peculiar, not individual, peculiar expressions, all needed, bound together to execute a mission, right? So we have to be the same. And so this card as a group challenges us to something a little bit more than the significance of the card when just reading it for an individual, right? It says reevaluate your position. That means something different as the group, as the fascists, right? As the fascia, right? It means something different as the group when it says do not get attached to a temporary poverty role by adopting a poor me attitude. We must reevaluate our position. We must take stock of our current resources. Stop. Pause. Pause. I know those of you who were up on here with me earlier was trying to figure out all these seeming diversions that I was going on. The Great Cosmic Mother and Mary Daly talking about the setup, the okie doke of Marxist, Leninist, socialist, communist theory, because it was a setup, it was an okie doke. What did I say? Under the male Father God, under God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit, they all move in one accord, even though they seem like they in opposition. They all move as one instrument. They all move as one instrument bound together in a singular goal. See, they have a singular axe head. They have a singular, y'all can't see it over there on IG. They have a singular axe head. There's a whole bunch of bundles. The bundles make them good what's the word? Impenetrable, unbreakable. You understand? The bundles together, one by themselves, you could break it. You feel me? But the bundles together, woven together, bound together in one accord, with one head, with one destructive head, with one destructive instrument bound together. You feel me? And so in that, don't you know that what you are witnessing in the so-called duality of communism and capitalism, don't you know that what you are witnessing is an illusion in this so-called holy war being force-fed down your throat, though intuitive you know good and goddamn well that is not what you are observing. You're observing a swing in the pendulum of the face of power. This is a reestablishment. This is a deepening of the theft. See, every time there's a crisis, there's a quote massive transfer of wealth that accompanies every seeming incidental, accidental. We don't know how this happened. Every time there's some accidental, seemingly out of nowhere catastrophe of this organism's making, there just happens to be every single solitary time a massive transfer of wealth. Bitch, what did I tell y'all about jargon before I lift up out of here? Okay? Jargon is an optical illusion meant to get you off your square. It is an instrument of warfare. What is war? To cause confusion. What does war mean? To cause confusion. That's all it is. Wealth transfer is bougie jargon, is bureaucratic jargon for we just robbed you blind while force feeding warfare, gruesome brigandage, and child murder down your throat 24 hours a day. That's what it means. That's all it ever means. You feel me? You get robbed with every catastrophe they create. You get robbed, and then the wealth don't ever go back to the pre-catastrophe. We don't go back to the pre-catastrophe financial, lull where things are kind of leveling off for us, and we're like, okay, we can gain some headway. Nope. The robbery deepens every time. You feel me? So this here says you must take stock of your current. The reason I'm prefacing about the robbery, and I was going off all hard about stop taking up as your mission bullshit seated in your community, seated in your consciousness, seated in your despair. Because I was saying before, man, like Dominique say here, shutting down all the small businesses and keeping Walmart open. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you for that. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You let your enemy set the dialogue, set the narrative, and you're like, oh, that sounds good. Yeah, we should tax the rich. And so now all you see is day after day after day after day, images, headlines of Gavin Newsom with his head in his hand, like he looks so concerned and stressed out and looking all deep and penetrative about how to solve this problem in California. Because if he co-signs on this 5% one-time tax to the wealthiest people in California, they may up and leave. Honey, they here for a reason, because it has been the most easy way under the easiest guise to rob people blind. The people in California have been robbed. Not just of California, because the statistics are if California is robbed, it means all y'all is robbed. Why did I say that? Because the statistics here in California is what? That one out of every 9 people that live in the United States, 1 out of every 9 people that live in the United States live in California. Did you know that? Isn't that like unfathomable? 1 out of every 9 people that live in the United States live in California. 1 out of every 38. Listen to what I'm telling you about these statistics right now, y'all. 1 out of every 38 people that live in the United States of America. 1 out of every 38 people that live in the United States live in Los Angeles. 1 out of every 38 people that live in the United States of America lives in Los Angeles. 1 out of every 9 people who live in the United States of America live in California. California is the largest economy in the United States. California has the largest economy in the United States and the 4th largest economy on earth. Los Angeles as a city has the 5th largest economy in the country. No, not in the country. My bad. California LA, Los Angeles as a city. Los Angeles as a city that can't seem to solve no motherfucking problems nowhere. As a city, Los Angeles has the 5th largest economy of any city on earth. The 5th largest, but can't seem to solve. And isn't it interesting that the wealthiest cities just can't seem to solve no problems? Everything is elusive in terms of a solution that makes sense for everybody. Isn't that something? That in this city, Los Angeles, California, that I live in, there are 49 billionaires that live in the city limits. Not the county, the city. There are 49 billionaires in this city. There are 259 millionaires in this city. More than half of them are the centimillionaires, meaning they have more than $100 million. All of them, quote, "We're threatening to take our money somewhere else if you make us pay a 5% tax on our wealth." Wealth that you stole, bitch. Wealth that you stole. And y'all gonna have to get comfortable saying that shit. That's what it means to take stock of your current resources. You see your resources all around you, and you will say it's something other than what it is. Yours. You, and I mean everywhere in this country. I mean everywhere on this earth. I mean everywhere on the planet. The poorest people on this planet confronted every day by their wealth. Literally seeing their wealth every day. Captive in the possession of people who have mastered the art of using the state to professionalize theft, to jargonize the legitimacy of theft. See how that works? That's why you're so frustrated. You mad as hell all the time. You don't know why, because you can't articulate why, because they have refused you the language, simple and plain, to help you understand in your mind, no matter your grade level, to allow you to understand clearly what you are looking at. The French people, they was ignorant. They was illiterate. Couldn't read, couldn't write. Working in factories from 5 years old on, getting maimed. Don't they tell you Tiny Tim was maimed? He was walking with makeshift crutches because he got injured in factory work. That's the story of Tiny Tim in a Christmas Carol. You feel me? Is that he was the victim of outright capitalism that, if the law allows them, will use you till you die, will exploit you till you die, and give you access to nothing, not even health care, not even to keep you alive long enough to excise every ounce of wealth they can excise out of you. They'll just work the next motherfucker harder to make up for the difference. Y'all acting brand new and goddamn confused about, oh my God, they're lowering the age of consent. Oh my God, they're lowering the age that parents can claim dependents. Now a dependent is only 12. Why are they doing that? When they're saying that the gap between the wealthiest and the poorest in this country is greater than even during the Gilded Age. The French weren't brilliant. The regular people, the serfs, the peasantry, the people who were being forced to sell their labor on the market, they couldn't live on the land no more. We act like it was a benefit that the serfs, the peasantry, was able to, quote, go into the cities during the Industrial Revolution and sell their labor on the market. It was the worst thing that happened to them, because at least when they was, quote, living on the land under the, quote, landlord, what they built, they could own. Sure could. What they built on the land from which they were, they owned that. And even though it was some bullshit, whatever they produced, they knew what they were producing. A portion went to the landlord, and they got to keep a portion, and at least they was fed. Now they have to go into the industrial factories where they're not living. At least they had the land. At least they still had the knowledge of the land. At least they still had free medicine on the land because they knew the lay of the land. They knew the herbs. They knew the poison plants. They knew the medicinal plants. They knew the edible plants. They still lived in communities together, not individual, spaces apart from each other. There was no competition among them because they was all fucked up on the land owned by the Lord. So they all had the incentive to work together all the time to secure each other from the wiles of the landlord while pulling together that which they produce so everybody could thrive. Ain't that about a bitch? So this thing says, be honest. It don't say that, but I'm adding it. Be honest when you take stock of your current resources. Current resources. I ain't talking about somewhere in the future, somewhere down the line. That ain't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about speak out loud what you see, even if it makes everybody around you uncomfortable. There are no billionaires, only thieves. There are no centimillionaires, only thieves. Only thieves. I am not one that believes that you cannot make an honest living in a society and become an honest millionaire. I am not, you'll never hear me say that because I believe it is possible. What I don't feel is possible is for you to have hundreds of millions of dollars and say you pulled yourself up by the motherfucking bootstraps and you don't spend 10 hours a week working. Use a liar. You have perfected the art of exploitation and you use law and jargon and bureaucracy to justify blunt. What do they call it? Grand theft auto, grand theft loot, grand theft loot, grand theft wages, grand theft that which ain't your shit. My labor don't belong to you, bitch. Your labor doesn't belong to anybody. And see, we can't even have the confidence to articulate something different. Everything we say out our mouth is some bullshit we heard somebody the fuck else say. And I'm telling you, the bullshit that you heard somebody else say was seeded in the goddamn general population by the fucking state. 10,000% of the time. Some okey doke, slide of hands ass bullshit that will have you in the streets talking about no kings. No, we don't want no kings. Bitch, what? And what are your list of demands? We want fair wages. Could you be any more ambiguous? What does that mean? What does that look like? How does it transform the human condition? What are you talking about? We don't want no kings or emperors. Okay, you done had 47 presidents, bitch, and you have been fucked by every single one of them. So what is you talking about? King or president, your ass is still screwed. What the fuck is you saying? Is this the demand? What's that mean? We don't want no kings. Okay, what you want? Can you have the courage to at least say that shit out loud? Can you have the courage to devise something new, no matter how radical to the rest of the world it may seem? You may sound like the lone weirdo. Like when I was telling y'all when I was actually on the ballot to run for mayor, campaign. Greetings, everybody. My first campaign, first part of my campaign program was I'm Black and Indigenous. And there are multiple Indigenous people in this state of California, in the city of Los Angeles. I said, but I recognize that this is not my natural homeland, California. And so before we be talking about anything that has to do with programs, policies, and a campaign plan, I stand 10 toes down, unflinchingly, unwaveringly, neck and neck in solidarity with the rightful owners of this land that we today call California. There ain't nothing that I would be doing under the auspice of policy that would not 150% include the contributions, the opinions of Indigenous people, particularly those by the name of Tongva and Shumach, who are the natural rightful landowners of the goddamn city we call California. What the fuck is y'all playing about? Y'all weirdos. Y'all weirdos. Y'all weirdos. No, I stand with the indigenous people, the true and traditional landholders of the state of California. And in the city of California, those landholders' names are Shumash and Tonga. Next point is I believe, stand 10 toes down, unwaveringly, uncompromisingly, that I a living wage. What? Please stop saying that. Like a living wage. Yeah, okay, we just spent the last 100 years subdued by a minimum wage. What is, even the minimum wage does not elicit rage in you. What is this? A bunch of white boys behind closed doors saying what is the absolute bare minimum we can pay American workers? What's the absolute bare minimum we can pay them where they won't burn this bitch to the ground? That's what they decided. And y'all was like, okay, well, I mean, it is the government, so I guess it's what we gotta work for is today. The national minimum wage is $7.50 an hour. And they was like, damn, they let us get away with this shit for this long, and all they talking about is a living wage of maybe $15 an hour. Shit. Well, if we stage a little fight and say we ain't gonna give y'all no $15 an hour, and then California say, let's give them a little pennies, let's give them a little $15 an hour. You know what I'm saying? We'll be seeming like we real progressive. You feel me? Give them a little $15 an hour. Let them think they did some shit. This slide hands ass bullshit that you have accepted. You accept that Gavin Newsom is a Democrat. What the fuck does that even mean? When this boy is squarely so deep in the pockets of billionaires that he is constantly caressing billionaires' nutsacks. That's how deep in the pockets. He's so deep in the pockets, he could literally grab the nutsacks of the billionaires. So what if he's a Democrat? What the hell does that even mean? Y'all ain't even got enough, like, with your whole chest like me. Fuck Democrats, fuck Republicans, fuck communists, fuck Marxists, fuck Leninists, fuck socialists. We have to create something radically new. You don't even have enough confidence to say what that is. Ask yourself today, that if I could take a magic marker, even if it's just stick figures, and draw what I see in my mind's eye as the perfect world, excising out of the equation anything that I have been taught about what perfection is, or that perfection is impossible, or any of that shit. If I had a universal cosmic magic pen, and everything that I drew on the wall or the board or the paper that is my childlike imagination of a perfect world, what would that look like? Would your ass in a perfect world be talking about, can I have a living wage, please? Please, can I do that? Can I please have $15 an hour, please, with no sick time and no vacation time and shit? Can I have that, please? No, that's not what you would be creating. So with your childlike, honest, uninhibited imagination, create the world and say that if I created this monstrosity that exists, because you did, that's the shit you don't want to come to terms with, is what exists. You built it. You did. I built it. You built it. Your mama built it. Your grandpeople them built it. Your ancestors built it. Your churches, your preachers built it. Your children will continue to build it if you do not change the vision. You built what is today your own prison based on beliefs that were not your own, but poured into your innocent baby skull and harnessed and fed fake food and fed toxic water to solidify in your cellular fibers the legitimacy of sickness as a default, sickness and premature death as a destiny, because of your inherent weakness, because of your inherent blackness or redness or brownness or otherness or your gender or whatever. This shit is bred in us. Your Bible tell it to you. Raise up the babies. What's the damn scripture say? Raise up your babies in the way so that they will never deviate from it. What that translates to is teach this bullshit and ass bullshit to your babies as soon as they skull emerge out their mama body, so that we can rule this motherfucker forever and ever and ever. That's what it means. That's what it means. Because you're talking about a scripture that is the blueprint for the maintenance, the establishment and maintenance of empire. This day God talking to them about how they can make sure that they maintain an unchallenged, because they cowards still. They have to be able to rule without you challenging. How can they do that? By seeding mania in your baby skull and your blank slate that's supposed to be your universe to secure your sovereignty over your life as the sovereign of your flesh, that your mama and your daddy are supposed to be here to protect and to secure until you can secure it for yourself. But in their madness, that was seeded in them by their parents, in their madness, that was seeded in them and their parents by their madness, and consecrated through their job, which is terrible because, you know, preacher tell you the more you willing to suffer in this life, the greater your bounty will be in the afterlife. So they just concede that a terrible, laborious, boring, drudgingly exploitative work life is the price they must pay to guarantee their little piece of heaven, their little piece of the afterlife. And that, damn, you know, I must be racking up, I must be stacking up coins in heaven because this shit fucked up out here. And we accepted. We accepted. Meanwhile, your opposition lives as if they know what you don't. That ain't no shit you want to reckon with, neither. Can you emerge in the world? What I was trying to tell y'all the other night, and I know it made some of you uncomfortable because it challenges even what we say we believe as, quote, spiritual beings. But if I'm telling you that all of these religions, if Marx is telling you that all of these religions, while patriarchy remains, no matter how beautiful the religious dogma sounds, I mean all of them, if they are all telling you, you know, don't worry, you got many opportunities to get it right. You understand? It may be fucked up this life, but guess what? You got karma. And if you sow good karma in this life, it'll be better for you the next time. This is why these light-skinned people who rule over your life, Indian person, they have racked up good karma. That's why they live the way they live. You black-skinned, untouchable, who we make clean up our sewages and toilet bowls. This is your karma. You must have did something in a past life, you feel me, to be living this fucked up in the game. You did that. That's some shit you gotta, you feel me? You just gotta wait till your next go round, and hopefully you obeyed your master like the good servant that you're supposed to be. So that when you come back the next time, reincarnation. What's the difference between reincarnation and fucking, what they call it? Resurrection. Y'all resurrection day yesterday. What's the difference? What's the difference? All of these religions telling you, suffer now, get your goods the next go round. Well, meanwhile, there are 3,900 and something odd billionaires on the face of the planet experiencing their version of heaven, which is hedonistic lunacy, hedonistic madness. That when you are so wealthy, that you are so bored, that all you do is sit around and just devise all of the debaucherous, criminal, inhumane ways that you can experience pleasure, because no matter how much you consume, the gaping hole in your chest can never be satiated. The gaping hole in your abdomen can never be filled, because your ass is so separate from her, that now you must mechanize madness. If I can get away with this, because the Satan don't see me as one of these lowly people. If I can get away with that, if I can get away with this, how much else can I get away with? That whole shit I keep talking to y'all about. Beware the madness of the king. The madness of the king is based It is based in division. It is based in separation. It is based in, it's like a black hole that's just all consuming. It cannot differentiate. It will consume its own children. It will consume its own everything of matter. It's what is it? They call it a particle de-accelerator or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know shit about quantum physics, but I know enough to know that we're witnessing that shit in real time. The madness of these monstrous, like, what else you gonna call them? These monstrous, maniacal child. This day and age, listen, what's the I thought CERN was a particle accelerator. Same difference. You catch my vibe. You know, we need to be talking about today. This year is the 250th anniversary, and your president wants you to remember all the time this great project called the United States of America. Okay, I'm going to remember it too. I'm going to remember that while y'all was over here, because the American Revolution to date, so far, as much bullshit as we done seen, the American Revolution is still the bloodiest war ever fought on American soil. An estimated 250, 250,000 people died in the American Revolution. Okay, right? Globally, 500. No, it was more than that. I have a whole notebook. I'll be up in here. You feel me? I have a whole notebook of just all the wars written out and what is the estimated loss of life associated with each war. I have a whole notebook. Because, see, when we just be talking about the past, like the past ain't present. Like the past does not live forever. And we be talking about this shit like, oh, that happened such a long time ago and all of that shit. And it seems like all we can say is poor Jews lost all these people in the Holocaust. Yes, absolutely the poor Jews. But the Jews participated in the massacre of the Herero just 20 years prior to that as German citizens. Yes, they did. Starved them to death, put them in concentration. Yes, they did. Yeah, they did that. Jews did that. Yep. Poor Jews, yes. But poor Armenians. The Armenian Holocaust. The Armenian genocide. Yes, poor Jews, but poor Armenians. Poor Russians. Poor Indians. During the British invasion twice. Poor Indians who were literally starving to death, skin over bones. Poor Somalis, poor Ethiopians, poor Nigerians, poor Ghanaians, poor people of Zimbabwe. The fuck is y'all talking about? There's a documentary called Apocalypse Africa. That's the name. It's a documentary called Apocalypse Africa. It was maybe 20 years ago that I saw this documentary. 2002, 2003, something like that. It's called Apocalypse Africa. I think you can still buy the DVD on like Amazon or some shit. And what it was attempting to do was to quantify how many Black people were murdered. That's what it is. It's murder. It's genocidal, lunatical murder. How many Black people lost their lives as a consequence of the colonial process, of the colonial project in Africa, just the continent of Africa, from 1883, which was the Berlin Conference. The Berlin Conference established by the church, because World War I, contrary to what any of you know about World War I and World War II and the events leading up to particularly World War I, all these Europeans, this was still during the colonial project. You know what I'm saying? Everybody just going and staking their claims and putting up flags here and there and to and fro all over the continent, and everybody beefing back, all the Europeans beefing back and forth about what piece of Africa belonged to them, like there wasn't nobody on the continent when they was over there just planting flags to and fro. And so shit was getting real deep. Real deep with these conflicts. And in 1883, the Pope was like, look, y'all got to stop. You know, Europe is small. Africa is big. There's enough for everybody. Why y'all up in here fighting like this? So the Pope initiates, oh my God. So, somebody, let me do this right now. I just had a whole motherfucking breakthrough. Who was the Pope I always learned about the Berlin Conference, but never who the Pope was that called for the Berlin Conference. I think I just think I had a breakthrough. Oh my God. I think I just had a breakthrough. Oh, 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 oh. I got to say this out loud because I have to add it to my notes of this live that I just did for y'all a couple of weeks ago. Oh, I know. Oh my God. Wait. See how you have, see how shit just be coming together. Remember that whole long deep dive that I did on the relationship? How as soon as this Pope that is currently in office, this time last year, as a matter of fact, because you remember this time last year on Easter Sunday, Pope Francis died. Y'all remember that? Last year on Easter Sunday, Pope Francis died. And they was in a scramble to figure out who the hell was going to be the next Pope. And not 3 weeks later, this dude, who is your current Pope, how did I never even see this? And I went off on this diatribe about, I want to know everything about Pope Leo, this new Pope Leo. Why he chose that name. Because every Pope chooses a pontific name based on some Pope of the past that they admire or whatever, this and that and this and that. And I told y'all that the Pope Leo that he named himself after was the last Pope Leo. I told y'all that. And I went on this whole diatribe that there were so many first times about this Pope Leo, his Negro adjacentness, the he got some black blood, right? And everybody was bigging that up. Your ass ain't even Catholic, but you like, he a Negro. Oh my gosh, right? By de facto, once or twice removed, he a Negro. And he from Chicago. Oh, they did that shit with your Barack Obama too, by the way. Oh my gosh. He from Chicago. Right? And so somehow that upped his Negro cred. His Negro cred. You feel me? And then the other thing is he's the first North American Pope. He is the first Negro adjacent Pope that we know of, right? Because there are theories that he is not the only black adjacent Pope. There were actually black popes, but I digress, right? But then he is one of only 3 Augustinian popes. He practices a version of Catholicism that is called Augustinianism. So I was like, all right, well, what did St. Augustine do that was so significant, and this and that, and this and that? The doctrine that the Roman Catholic Church accepted that was put into action under Augustine, who was a doctor of the church, a doctor as in one who has doctored the belief system. A doctor is one who has contributed to the new doctrine of the Catholic Church. St. Augustine was the one responsible for drafting what we know today, what remains today as the just war theory. Just war. St. Augustine did that. That ain't the only thing he did, but that was the most significant. He is the contribution to the states, to the nobility, to the governments of what constitutes a just law. And if a just war, a just war. And if a war is established as just in the eyes of God, what you can do, what is forgiven, what is absolved behavior under a war that is now quantified as a just war. How can you divide up the resources you have assumed possession of under a just war? That's what Augustine did. Your current Pope is an Augustinian. Do you know how rare Augustinianism is? Augustinianism, there are only 25,000 practitioners of Augustinianism on earth, on the whole of the globe. They have 25,000 practicing Augustinians, and he is one of only 3. Augustinians to have been pope. And the last one was like 300 years ago, I think, something like that. Yeah, right. Why am I having this moment? Because the other thing about your current pope, Leo, who is a Virgo, by the way, Pope Leo, who is a Virgo. Not only is he Virgo, we share a birthday. His birthday is my birthday. He's 20 years older than I am exactly to the day, right? So he is a Leo Pope, Virgo sun sign, and the Leo that he fashioned his pontificate after is the last Pope Leo, which was, he was the longest sitting Pope for 500 years. For 500 years, he was the longest sitting Pope. He was the Pope during the Gilded Age. During the Berlin Conference, it was, let's see. This pope was significant for a number of reasons. This pope that your current pope fashioned his life after, who was Pope Leo the 13th. His pontificate ended in 1878. Okay, so he was not the pope. Who was the pope? I just asked who the pope was in his. Oh no, it says no. It says well, that's confusing. Let me see what Wiki says. Yeah. It says his papacy was from 1878 to 1903. So 1903. And he so yes, he was the pope at the time that this other dude, what's who this dude name is? Yeah. Berlin Conference. And so this was to the Berlin Conference was a meeting of European nations organized by Otto von Bismarck to formalize the scramble for Africa. The current borders, aka boundaries that you know as the 54 countries on the continent, were carved at the Berlin Conference, held from November 1884 to February 1885. So what's that, 6 months? 4 months? 14 powers established the rules for dividing Africa, including effective occupation without inviting any African representatives, accelerating the colonization of 90% of the African continent. The purpose of this conference was to prevent conflict between European powers over African territory, particularly with regards to the claims in the Congo Basin. Does that sound currently familiar? The General Act, signed on February 26, 1885, this act set the rules for colonization, emphasizing that nations must occupy territory to claim it. Effective occupation. And the Pope was in the conference. The Pope that Joe Curran fashioned his pontificate after was in attendance at this conference among all of these warring European countries. These warring countries, while they divided up the continent, gave the countries European names, basically denoting what loot was coming out of the country. So what was Ghana under this colonial period, direct colonial rule of Africa, what had been Ghana becomes the Gold Coast. The country known as Ghana today was for a long time called the Gold Coast, because that was the primary exploited export coming out of Ghana to Great Britain. Cameroon is the is it Cameroon is it Portuguese? I think it's Portuguese. I think Cameroon is Portuguese. It's ruled by Portugal, but whatever. It's either French or Portuguese. But the word Cameroon means fish, because that was the primary economic exploit. There was another one called the Ivory Coast because they was killing all the elephants, just like they did the buffalo over here. This is the Pope that's doing all these soft-spoken laments about the harms of war and how we just need peace, like Jesus called for peace and shit. And the Bible that I read, which is the King James Version Bible, you feel me, the KJV that these Southern Baptists love so much, said Jesus said out of his own mouth, I make no mistake, I did not come to bring peace, I came to bring the sword. That's what he said. When he told his clique, I send you out as sheep among wolves, I send you out as sheep among wolves. So I send you out as sheep among wolves. So if you do not have a sword, sell your cloak and go get one. Because it's gonna be deep out here. You might have to cut a bitch. But who is he talking to? Jesus, that y'all know and love. Who is he talking to? Was he talking to Gentiles? Was his homies? Was his sidekicks? Was his 12 disciples Gentiles? No, they wasn't. No, they wasn't. No, they wasn't. Jesus was a Jew. Have y'all tell it. Jesus was a Jew, and all of his disciples were Jews. All his disciples was Jews. So when he says he's still on some, what's that doctrine? Chosen one doctrine. We the chosen few doctrine. He's still just based on what he said out his own mouth. Just based on what he said out his own mouth, he's still low key sleight of hands ass shit. Why wouldn't he be some sleight of hands ass shit? His daddy perfected the art of sleight of hands ass shit. I want to slay everything that's moving, but I love you. But even when he say I want to slay everything that's moving, but I love you, he ain't talking to you, the Old Testament God. That's what I'm talking about. When he talk about love and all of that shit and this and that and this and that, and I'm a wrathful God, but it's only because I love you, because I'm a jealous God and shit. He is only talking to one group of people. If you are reading the book the way the people tell you supposed to read the book, that the whole book is the life story of one group of people, and then late in the game we'll let y'all come in a little bit. We'll let y'all come in a little bit, but we still just talking about us. Because if you read the book just word for word, like the Lord say, read the book. You feel me? That the book is literal. I'm telling y'all about the book the way we grew up reading the book, about how we grew up learning to read the book. That everything, every story, every parable is literal in the book. And if you're reading the book that way, like your Lord said, read it, right? That is literal. Then when Jesus is talking about, I send you out here as sheep among wolves. So if you don't have no sword, sell your cloak and go get one. He wasn't talking about Gentiles. He wasn't having that conversation with Gentiles that supposedly now have the opportunity to, quote, give their life to the Lord. Give their life to the Lord how? As sacrificial lambs to the chosen few? Because Jesus, he ain't have an integrated clique. He ain't have an integrated crew. He didn't have an integrated crew. His crew wasn't integrated. So wasn't. When they at the Last Supper, it's just them. This a secret meeting. This just for us. Everything that I tell you up in here is just for us. The harvest is about them. The harvesting, they don't even lie about it. They have done such a good job that they don't even have to mince words. That the most important role of a convert, because that's what you are. If you're a Christian, bitch, you a convert. Did you know that? If you are a Christian, you are a convert. Did you know that? Did you know that you are the shit. Your ass has been played, boo. You are a convert. And what did you convert to? What did you convert from? First of all. But what did you convert to as a convert? You converted into a murder cult that literally tells you in your face that Gentiles was lower than animals, that the only value that their lives had were as the perpetual servants to the chosen few. And if you did not comply with servitude, then you could also function as the much needed harvest for their war God, their God of war, who is fattened and bludgeoned and bloated, off of ritual blood sacrifice, and that can be animal or it can be human. This is not my opinion. And you say, well, the Old Testament don't say nothing about the Hebrews practicing human sacrifice. You a motherfucking lie. That I can tell you. You a motherfucking lie. As a matter of fact, the grand patriarch of your beloved tradition, whether you are Jew or whether you are Christian, the beloved patriarch of your tradition tells you that in his blind, unwavering obedience to to the voices in his head, because you have to see without evidence, believe without seeing. You have to believe without seeing. You understand? You have to trust and have faith. And so if you hearing voices, then and you a male, now listen, if you are hearing voices and you are male, then those are divine voices. If you are hearing voices and you are female, you are a witch that must be burned alive or stoned to death, because you in your inherent wickedness, person with a vagina, you are the devil spawn that condemned all mankind. You feel me? And so if your ass hear voices, there is no divine providence no matter how good you are. Your ass is the seed of Satan, and all the voices that you hear are malevolent and have evil intention, and that evil intention is to sway males away from their divine source, which is white and old and bloodthirsty and terroristic. And they was like, look, too many people, like I told you the other day, told you earlier today, I was listening to two Jewish commentators. This is not what I said. This is verbatim what they said out their mouth. Nobody ever asked why we Jews was chased out of 109 nations. But we just automatically believe that they are the poor victims of the world, and everybody chased them the fuck up out of where they was because they just hate the Jewish tradition. One of them said it was their unwillingness. What did he say? Oh my God, what did he say? He said it was Jews' unwillingness to assimilate to the land that they were on. That's what he said. This Jewish white boy said the reason that we Jews was chased out of 109 nations was because it was our unwillingness to assimilate to the laws of the land. And finally, the people was like, all right, we see there ain't no compromise with you motherfuckers. So y'all just go on to the next place. Get the fuck up out of here. And then they set themselves up to be the perpetual villains and victims at the same time, that we can see with our eyes behavior that is based on a kind of collective psychosis that is the most debaucherous Epstein shit. It ain't just him. He ain't no anomaly. Epstein, Weinstein, Bernstein, Woody Allen, you name them. The list goes on and 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 on. We'll never call it some collective pathology like black on black crime. When we see with our own eyes, hear with our own ears, the massive list of Steens and all these Jewish men, but they ain't by themselves. That madness has produced some of the most tyrannically insane women I have ever. They showed a video. These same two Jewish dudes showed a video of an Australian born and raised Jewish girl who moved to Israel under the right of return. And so they watching this interview. This girl believes that who she talking to. Listen to this white girl that sounds like she from the United Australia is talking to a dude who she thinks is Israeli. She does not know that the dude that she is talking to, they talking like I'm talking to y'all. They talking like on a Zoom. He's interviewing her, right? And she does not know. Do you hear what I'm telling you? This white girl from Australia with a New York accent does not know that the young, dark-skinned, good-looking young 20-year-old something kid that she is talking to is Palestinian. Do you hear what I just said? Isn't that such a paradox? That she does not know that he says that he tells her, obviously under false pretense, that he is an Israeli. So he's like, well, will you be interested in me interviewing you? An open, honest interview that'll probably only be seen by us. And so when she think it's just going to be seen by, quote, us, this girl couldn't have been 16. This girl could not have been 16. This child could not have been 16. Bless her heart. Bless her heart. The toxic waste coming out of this child's mouth, even as I hate oppression, and when I say I hate oppression, I don't even use the word hate in my lexicon maybe twice a year, maybe twice every 5 years. I do not use the word hate in my lexicon. But if I have to use the word hate, I am clear and certain that what I do hate more than anything on the face of the earth, I hate oppression. I hate exploitation. I hate crimes against babies. I hate it so much that if I know that you have committed a crime against a child and I know you are in my proximity, I'm going to be plotting on how to get a pocket full of ground glass in your next fucking meal. What is the quickest way I can contribute to turning you into plant food? That's how much I hate it. That's how much I hate it. I hate people who commit crimes, violence or sexual, against women, against children, against males. I hate it equally. Let me find out your grimy, malignant, fucked up, repugnant ass has raped some man. Well, it's just prison life. It's just, I'm plotting and scheming against your ass. Just know it. Just know that if I know your dirt, and your dirt includes sexual violence against human beings of any kind, even if I may smile in your face, bitch, know that I'm plotting and scheming. I'm plotting on your life. I mean that shit. I hate it that much. And every person on earth should hate it that much. Should hate it. I don't have no feelings about you. I don't have enough invested to hate you, the person. Nope, sure don't. No love, no hate, inconsequential. Your actions is what I hate, and your actions you must pay for. That's all. That's it. That's it. I would never spend my wheels on I hate that. There is, as a matter of fact, there's only one person in my person, a human person in my whole life that the way I'm talking this, that I said about them. There's only one person in my, it ain't even nobody I had a relationship like intimate with. Because I got done dirty by men. There ain't a man alive that I would say, even if I was done dirty by them, I hate them. I don't have it in me to hate them. I don't. I've never been hit by a man except my father. My father's the only man that's ever put his hands on me. And that was because he believed in Jesus. And he believed that somehow to demonstrate his love to Jesus, he had to dutifully spank his daughters. You feel me? That's the only man that's ever put their hands on me. My stepfather's been my stepfather since I was 10 years old. That man's never put his hands on me. Never even thought about it. You understand? No man has ever put his hands on me that way. Never. You understand? So there's only one man, there's only one human being that I've ever said out of my mouth, I hate that motherfucker. That the only good he could ever serve is as plant food. He provides no benefit in every relationship around him. He has been a pariah. Not just because he maybe have fucked up, that his pariahism is matched by the violence coming out of his hands towards the bodies of other human beings. I hate oppression. I hate exploitation. And if you are the purveyors of oppression and exploitation, aka every billionaire on earth, you are violent. You are an exploiter. You are an oppressor. You have so much blood on your hands, it could never be wiped away. You have soiled the earth with so much blood, you can never be forgiven. I mean that. You can never, there is no forgiveness. We have to be comfortable and confident enough to speak justice into the universe. They got us so well trained, we scared to say what's what out loud. I hate oppression. And the thing that gives me comfort in that, the thing that gives me solace in that, is when we read in what is it? Is it the? I think it's in. Is it in this? Oh yes. You know what? Let me see if it's in here. When we read in either this book, the dictionary of that's what all these men are scared of, by the way. That if women ever come into power and we get found out for the shit we did because we thought patriarchy was gonna protect us for forever, these bitches gonna slay us. They're gonna slay us all. That's what they're in the deep of their heart, in the deep of their heart, in the deep of their soul, in the deep of their conscious. That is what every malignant patriarchal male is afraid of. Is if that's why the clamp down on females in society right now. If these motherfuckers, if we ever let up a little bit and they get a little bit of wiggle room, they get a little bit of wiggle space, they're gonna slay us all. These bitches got every right to slay us all because the shit we have done is unforgivable. That's what they're afraid of. But they are so far from their relationship to the mother. That's why I talked to y'all. It was like 3 days ago about the idea of the prodigal son, the return of the prodigal son. That there are males among us, not only just among us, that 99.9% of males born on earth started out the way everybody started out, innocent, moldable to either right or to wrong, loving of who they saw as God at the moment, which is who? They mama. That's the only thing that they can conceive of, as I can't be too far away from my mama. Every male. And so imagine the kind of brutal tyranny that it took to seed the kind of diabolatry we see in the world into the hearts and spirits of baby boys, and how it is a peculiarly vicious kind of assault. The assault that those boys wage on women, on female bodies, on girls, once they are in that shit for so long. Yes, we can all recognize crimes against women, femicide and matricide and infanticide and all of this terrible, terrible shit that happens at the hands of males on earth, right? But imagine the kind of peculiarly specific, wicked, diabolical machinations that had to happen to baby boys to transform them from the beautiful human beings that they are. I've never had a son that came out of my body, but I had a stepson, and that was my baby. And to this day, he has got the best heart of any man I've ever met. I love that child. Kazia was my stepson, is my stepson. And he is such a good father, and he is such a good man. And even when he was little, he moved in with me when he was 8 years old. This baby had the biggest, I'm sitting here getting watery just thinking about it. He moved in with me when he was 8 in the midst of chaos. Our whole world, me, him, his father, his family on his daddy's side, his mama on we were all in a tailspin of fucking chaos when me and his father met and married. And he has to leave the only home that he ever knew to move to Florida with us. And this baby had the biggest spirit. He had the biggest heart. He loved Africa. He loved African people. He was just, oh my God, what a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful baby boy. That despite all the other shit that he was surrounded by, and he was surrounded by some bullshit and ass bullshit, yo. Okay. He was surrounded by some bullshit and ass bullshit culturally, being born and raised in the Northeast. You know what I'm saying? Being, the product of a very, very malignantly typical patriarchal, misogynistic man fronting as a revolutionary who, quote, loved the black queen and shit. And he still turned out to be such a beautiful, even the way he laughed. Everybody loved Quazio. Everybody that met that child loved him immediately. Just such a big, big, big heart on that baby. You feel me? And so I get sad. I get teary-eyed easily. That is my weakness, is babies, is children. Still, it is my weakness that we live in a world where children are never safe, where we have to teach them that they are never safe, that we have to tell them, look out for this and look out for that and look around the corner and this and that and this and that. We have to witness the most gruesome crimes against humanity and have some crazy motherfuckers tell us that what we're seeing with our own eyes is not what we are seeing. And under the fear of loss of life, under the fear of loss of income, under the fear of loss of home and livelihood, we dare not speak out against what we see with our own eyes and respond in the way that every parent should, whether they are your children or not. Somebody has to pay for what is happening to babies around the world. Somebody has to fucking pay. They have to pay with their goddamn lives. That's how they have to pay. That's how they have to pay. When they have established a world where the only language they speak and respond to, cowards that they are, is brute, swift force. It's the only language they respond to. And here as a mother, here as a grandmother, here as a lover, here as one who loves her mama, who loves her sister, who loves her nieces and nephews, who I just want for the norm on earth to be the laughter and the ecstatic expression of babies who are completely safe to exist. That's my starting point. That's my foundation. That's my starting point for the world. That's my starting point. Is where the norm, the expectation is that when you go outside, all you're going to hear all the time is laughing, happy, unbridled, sovereign babies. That will let me know we have done it. We have arrived. We did that shit. And until we see that, until we create that, nothing, no jargon you motherfuckers are talking about is going to convince me against my own understanding. It's going to convince me against what my own eyes see, what my own ears hear, what my own heart labors over. No jargon, no fucking spells, none of that shit. We have to imagine something more that is way outside the paradigm imposed on us. I don't ever want to hear somebody who calls themselves a spiritualist, an activist, a world changer, a revolutionary, any of that shit, and you have not imagined something extraordinarily better than what exists. Because you built what is. Now that your mind is yours, your heart belongs to you. You have let loose the baby giant out of the cage that is your heart. What can that motherfucker build? What can the giant within you build that is completely, radically outside of what has been imposed on your life, on your skull, on your body, on your existence? That's what we have to bring to the table in every space. I don't give a fuck about the laws of the land. I don't give a fuck about the laws of the land. Did I make them? Did I participate in creating them? Then I don't consent. I don't consent. Not to one. I don't consent. I don't consent. I don't consent. Was it my ancestors that made these laws of the land? Was it my native ancestors that made the laws of the land that y'all claim to love so much because we live in a democracy? What the fuck is a democracy? What you talking about? What does that mean? Somebody tell me what democracy means. Tell me what that means and why you love it so much. That to this day, war after 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 war, that Black people done participated in from day one, that brown people done participated in from day one against their own interest, that red people done participated in betraying themselves and their countrymen and women from day one, under the auspice that, well, these is the motherfuckers in power now, so maybe it'll be a little bit better for me if I side with them. From day one. How much better off are you? How much better? That's the reckoning. How much better off are you when in a single year, this monstrous motherfucker can literally take an axe and lop the head off of 650,000 Black women, completely cut them off from their ability to secure themselves, their families, and their communities, and nobody say a goddamn word to this day. It still hasn't occurred to you, even as you out here on some no kings bullshit and ass bullshit, and Black people, y'all just stay home, we got this. The fuck? I would not rely on you to make a contest with the state on my behalf when you don't give a fuck about what my community looks like on a daily basis, or the 650,000 people that y'all just disappeared from the city of Los Angeles and act like that's just how it's supposed to be. And don't see a direct correlation with the extraordinary amount of wealth amassed in their absence at their expense. That for the first time in the history of this city, more than 52% of the homeless in the city are Black. Of those, 74% of them work full-time jobs. Street homeless, in fucking tents, 74% working full-time jobs in this motherfucker where they can't afford the key to a one-bedroom apartment. Working full-time. Y'all motherfuckers out here talking about 15-hour goddamn living wage. On my platform, if you build it, you own it. I said, why all these buildings? It occurred to me when I first moved up in here. I said, why all these Mexicans don't be asking for more than what they getting paid? Why are they only asking for a living wage? And you see these goddamn buildings, man, popping up like fucking daisies out of the sidewalk. And meanwhile, you can't solve homelessness, but you got money. I think it was like 320 something buildings built last year in this city. Buildings, not houses, buildings. In the 5 years I've been living in this apartment, in a 2-block radius of my apartment, all of these houses, residential houses, level to the ground, probably taking advantage of people's economic situation, because the mansion tax, that's all deceptive in its language, the mansion tax, what you think is just applies to people who got mansions. No, every apartment complex built in your neighborhood, now the whole neighborhood, the mansion tax applies to everybody that lives in a neighborhood where an apartment building or a condo is erected in your community. Mansion tax. This is gentrification. Gentrification is genocide. It is the way that they are robbing people blind of land and homes. How now corporations are the largest homeowners in this country. But because your ass is complicit, I'm gonna tell you what it is. Because your ass is complicit, that as long as Black folks is more fucked up than y'all won't buck back. Y'all will not buck back. As long as Black people are always getting the shaft end of the deal, y'all won't bust back. Y'all won't blow back. Y'all won't say what it is. No, King's Day. We support Black people staying at home and resting. Fuck y'all. I mean that shit. I mean it so hard. I'm on one. I've been on one for a couple of weeks, man. Trying to navigate this bullshit happening in my own life that I have been... Y'all know I've been talking about this housing instability since June. Since these fires finally showed their face and made an impact on my life that they have made, even economically, I was like, fuck, I don't want to touch nobody no more. You feel me? But let me go on over here and at least open up my doors. I just signed up 2 weeks ago to do housekeeping again. I'm doing housekeeping again. I haven't even admitted that shit. I'm doing housekeeping again. I'm scrubbing motherfucking rich people toilet bowl. Because even the massage therapy thing that I was doing, the way I was getting paid before, it ain't happening. This shit is stupid as fuck. And I'm telling you, you have to see the world as a web. Otherwise, you will be grabbing at straws thinking you are solving some shit. This shit, the fires, the 250,000 people that were displaced, 78% of them are still couch surfing. 500 of them died as a consequence of losing their house. Do you know what they just did last week? Child, this shit has had me up in my feelings, man. I feel like an asshole. Like, I have been since November actively. I can show you a stack of papers this big, going from organization to organization to organization, applying for jobs. I haven't had to use my resume in 15 years. Applying for jobs. I was like, fuck it, let me just get back on this app and start cleaning these motherfuckers' houses and shit again, right? Applying for jobs, while at the same time going to all of these organizations that say, we can help you. Our biggest thing is to keep people in their house, and baby, this is the most maniacal, bureaucratic insanity I have ever witnessed, I have ever experienced. And don't let nobody tell you what's happening in LA is anything other than what it is. It is ethnic cleansing in real time. That is preparation to create a pristine city that is very white and very Asian in preparation for the Olympics in 2 years. I'm telling you what it is. I'm seeing at least 3 documentaries on the ethnic cleansing policies that happen at least 3 to 5 years prior to an Olympics going to a city, and how it devastates. It devastates those, even homeowners. There's a whole Mexican organization in this city fighting like hell to prevent what they have been seeing, because they've been talking about this shit since I got here, the Mexicans. Because the place that they're talking about having the Olympics, the community, now I would tell you, the community is predominantly Mexican, but it wasn't all. It was gentrified. It was predominantly black at one time. However, it is predominantly, and has been for quite a number of decades, it is predominantly Mexican now. And they have already formed these organizations, in opposition to the Olympics coming to LA in 2028. This thing with Trump is tied to it. This thing with Newsom is tied to it. Do you know that there are already people around the world who have already paid anywhere from $320,000 to $400,000 to secure their housing for the Olympics? I read that in the LA Times. There are people around the world who have already secured their, quote, housing for the time that they're going to be here in the city for the Olympics in 2028, paying upwards of $400,000 to get the jump on their housing. And you don't act like, yes, thank you, do me and bless it. She talked about how they're getting, that's what LA is talking about, how LA is going to be a smart city by the time of the Olympics, and the whole city's going to be run on AI. That's what these ugly ass smart cars are about. These goddamn robotic cars. I don't know if you haven't seen the robotic cars, but they are integrated. That shit happened overnight. These cars driving around the city that are unmanned cars. They're functioning as like Ubers. Unmanned cars. Meanwhile, Lyft drivers and Uber drivers are talking about they got all these goddamn unmanned cars, and so they done started. We can't even make the living we was making just a little bit ago, driving Lyft and driving Uber. I mean, when I tell you the shit happened overnight, I was like, God damn, like they were serious. This ain't no prototype no more. These motherfuckers is out here. Hundreds of unmanned cars on the roads and highways here in Los Angeles. I said, these motherfucking cars are going to be police cars. Watch. Because these cars have like these big old giant like circling cameras. Mounted on the top are these big ass black things, and you can see the camera just constantly turn, because the car need to be able to see where it's going to back up, where it's going to stop. Is there any? So you can see the light of the camera just constantly, slowly going around and around, surveying all the terrain. The lights, the tail lights do the same thing, right? Everything about the car is always surveying the terrain, so that the car can drive by its goddamn self. And you'll see people in the back seat just laughing. Meanwhile, 250,000 people have been displaced from their homes. And so those who are still trying to makeshift a living without any therapy, without any treatment, without any, out here driving Lyft, driving Uber, and have to drive a 12-hour day to make $150 a day. The fuck? So anyway, so I know I said I wasn't gonna digress, but I'm on one anyway. So that was still the first card. I'm gonna move on, but I got on that because it says take stock of your current resources and review the lessons of the stones up until this point. But one of the lessons I told you, right? It was basic survival. The prior stone to that, gathering together, is the three of stones. That you are rich when you are together. Reflecting on the potential use of your resources. Are you using your resources in the best way possible? Seeds of prosperity. Open your eyes and receive the gift of true understanding from which abundance comes. Listen, open your eyes. Isn't that what I just spent all this time talking to y'all about? Open your eyes and receive the gift of true understanding from which abundance comes. Don't be taking the word of your enemy to explain your situation to you. You are not poor, you are robbed. There is no such thing as poverty. It doesn't exist. The globe is perpetually abundant. There is no such thing as waste. There is no such thing as trash. And they know it, even though they try to convince you of some other shit. They're talking about building an AI city. You understand? But I'm going to tell you, the things that they know that they can do to make the city better right now, they will refuse you. And then when they bring all these rich fucking investors, these Arab investors and these Asian investors and these white investors and all of this shit, then you'll have this beautiful green city with green requirements on every major building over 3 floors. That green must be everywhere. That you'll see them start seeding trees again after they used the ecology as a weapon against black people. They say that. What do they call it? Ecological genocide. That's what he called it. Ecological genocide. I heard a whole dude do a whole interview about the city of Los Angeles's history of, what did he call it? Environmental genocide. That's what he called it. He said how under the guise of, quote, making it easier to catch criminals, which was synonymous with black people, how the city spent millions of dollars removing all the trees from South Central. It increased the average temperature in South Central 10 to 15 degrees over everywhere else because they systematically went through cutting down all the trees so that they could see the bad guys when they chasing them in the helicopters. And how this dude talked on NPR about the measurable health issues that have come as a consequence of the environmental genocidal assault on black people in South Central that is now 81% Mexican, through strategically chopping down all of the trees in South Central. I had that on my platform, by the way. As soon as I heard that, I was like, reparations for all the trees you cut down out of the black communities, lowering the property value. Because when you remove trees, you lower the property value too. Did you know that? That if you have trees in your yard, it increases your property value. Did you know that? So under the auspice of, quote, fighting crime, you pull these triple whammies. You make the respiratory distress more. You increase the average temperature in black communities. You remove privacy. So you cut down all the trees. That ain't far-fetched, because when these motherfuckers was out here, all these white people was out here, and these other people, the writers, Hollywood writers doing the writer's strike, guess what they did? They was like, oh, we see what they do, and since they're gonna be out here all day, they go to the places that have a lot of street trees, street cover. This was just a couple of years ago, the writer's strike. Oh, we see what we see what they're doing. When they want to post up someplace and they're gonna be there for like 4-5 hours, they always find a place that's got a lot of natural tree cover. So you know what the city did? For the industry, for the studios, the production studios. Do you know what they did? Do you know what the city of Los Angeles did? Spent $1.5 million cutting down all the goddamn trees. Every studio that had trees on the sidewalk where these protesters could get some relief, could get some shade while they sat out there 5 hours a day protesting about how these motherfuckers trying to give all the jobs so they don't have to pay nothing to AI. The city, yielding to the pressure of an industry, spent $1.5 million cutting down all of the trees in front of all of the studios where these people have been protesting. They did that. So me telling you that they cut all the trees, strategically cut all the trees down in South Central under the auspice of fighting crime. These malignant motherfuckers. Anyway, so that's that card. Take stock of your current resources. What are your current resources? Not just what you have in your possession, everything that belongs to you and has not yet been returned. Has not yet been returned. Everything that belongs to you and has not yet been returned. Your ass is rich. You just was robbed. Those are still your resources. Your ass is rich. Your ass is abundant. Your ass has been robbed. And until you can articulate the right thing, reparations. Everybody mad about reparations and how, like you didn't expect it, Israel, America, and Argentina was the only ones that were like, we don't believe in reparations for no black people who are the descendants of slaves. Y'all act surprised. The Durban Conference Against Racism in South Africa said the same thing under what is his name? George W. Bush. Same thing. America, Israel walked out. It's like, we ain't got to hear this bullshit. We ain't trying to hear this shit. And here we are, because they know you don't remember and they know you don't research. They're doing the same thing. Here you is, hot under the collar. You have me tell it. It ain't going to be just governments paying reparations, bitch. So you have to come up with a new language. It ain't going to be just governments paying reparations. That's a discussion I'll say for another day. But it ain't just going to be governments paying reparations. There wouldn't be a corporation without the theft of black labor and intellectual property. Anyway, so that's it. Take stock of your resources. It's time to exert a mental discipline. The first mental discipline is to appreciate yourself. Practice. We'll just pass over that. Reimagine your future. Here I am. Hadn't even read that part yet. Hadn't even got to that part yet. And I'm telling y'all, reimagine your future. Relax into the wealth that you already have, because change is near. What's the wealth you already have? What's the wealth you already have that you taking stock of? The great giveaway can be a totally positive experience if you have provided for your own well-being, put your heart and soul into the work for the sake of itself rather than for reward, and are willing to give your first. And I'm gonna read to y'all anyway. Okay. What are you taking stock of? What does it mean when it says relax into the wealth you already have? The world is yours. That's what I mean. Who's yours? Who's the yours? You. Who? Us. Who? Everybody that ain't gonna function as plant food. Everybody that's not gonna function as plant food. Who is that? The majority of us. Who is that? The people who did not commit crimes against humanity. The people who do not rob the many to live opulently. And I will say this. The reason that they do that is because they know what you do not accept. That what science tells you is you get one chance. You get one shot. You were fortunate. What did I tell y'all the statistic scientifically was? There was a one in a what did he say? A 1 in a billion trillion. No, 1 in a trillion, billion chance that your ass would have ever been born. Isn't that something? Statistically, there is a 1 in a trillion, billion. 1 in a trillion, billion chance that you would have ever been born. This completely contradicts your ideas about nirvana, heaven, what the Mormons call it, wherever they get to go to a planet that's all white and they can have all white concubines and all white babies, whatever that shit is, whatever their version of heaven is, all that bullshit. Karma, dharma, all that bullshit. All that bullshit. That what your science tells you is that isn't this first of all, the fact that you can hear me, see me, thank me, pay me, right? That statistically, you being able to sit and hear me is an impossibility. Science says it's impossible. That it's such a significant statistic anomaly that it's literally a miracle that you are alive as you are with your parents and your DNA sitting here either agreeing with me or throwing something across the room because you can't stand me. And if that's the case, this begins to explain why certain people live the way that they live. Like this is the only chance they get, and fuck everybody else. I'm gonna live to my best in my most extreme, and I'm gonna do everything and all the things, and I don't give a fuck about nobody else. Because y'all be asking dumbass shit like, what kind of person could do this? What kind of person could do such a thing? How could they even come up with this? Don't you have a heart? How do you sleep at night? Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Who the fuck are you talking to when you ask dumbass shit like that? Who are you trying to reason with when asking them kind of dumbass questions? Of the most malignant cancer that has ever existed on the face of the earth, who are you appealing to when you go out in these streets on some demonstrations where you have not clearly articulated your rage and what the impact of your rage will be if these motherfuckers don't comply? No kings. We don't want any kings. What? Child, this shit is putrid. This shit is putrid. Y'all are the rats in the water swimming for 60 hours thinking some motherfucker about to come and save you. That's what the study was done for. Just how much can we get away with before these motherfuckers give up? How much can we bleed from them just using hope as they loan sustenance? These rats swam for 60 hours with no food and no water, literally surviving on a hope. Not only a hope that they thought was certain. Oh my God. Oh my God. A hope that they thought was certain. These babies, these little rats. I could get a lot deeper on y'all than that, but I won't. I'll spare you for now. Let me go ahead and move through this shit quick. Okay, next card. I don't know. That was just one card. I pulled 5 cards for this goddamn 4 cards for this shit. Okay, next card is the blend card, which is so fitting for this diatribe that I just walked y'all through. I had to make up for lost time because I didn't do a temple service this weekend, and no, I spent all day trying to prepare to do one yesterday, and my cat got hurt, so it just derailed my whole plan. Y'all getting the condensed, super condensed, but all the things condensed into one thing. Here's the second card. It's called the blend card. For those of you who are familiar with the traditional tarot, this is the temperance card of the traditional deck. And so you see, she looked like a mixologist. You see, she mixing one thing, she pouring one thing into another thing. She got the halo enlivened on her head. She got a river flowing around her. There's a mountain in the background. The sky is kind of cloudy, but she looks zen. She looks zen. She got peace on her face. She said, I'm just up in here doing my damn thing. And everything is just flowing keenly and perfectly around me. This is the temperance card or the blend card in our medicine woman deck. So the number 14 card And this card, as the Temperance card, like I said, I told y'all, I warned y'all about 2 hours ago. Y'all have been here. I don't know. Java throwing shit, Ken's color box throwing shit, throwing furniture and shit. It be like that. Okay. So anyway, let me take a pause for the calls. Let me grab something to drink, and let me reiterate. Y'all need to go back into the comment section and find out the ways that you can contribute. I just put the what you call it, the GoFundMe in the comment section of the comment section of can I do that? I don't know, probably not, because that would be too easy. Yep, because that would be too easy. So I just put the GoFundMe in the chat box, and then I'll somebody do me a favor and share the Etsy store address, the Venmo, the way that you can make a donation via Venmo, the way that you can make a donation via Zelle, PayPal, and Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, Cashapp. Do that for me in the comment section while I grab something to drink really quick. Okie dokie. Thank you. Oh, man. Down, press some man. Where you gonna run to? Down, press some man. Where you gonna run to? I said down, press some man. Where you gonna run to? All alone that day. Get Peter Tosh in your life. Okay. You're gonna run to the rocks. All rocks will be melting. You gonna run to the rocks. All rocks will be melting. You gonna run to the rocks. Rocks will be melting all along that day. I said you drink your pink champagne and laugh. Ha 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 ha. I said you drink your pink champagne and laugh. Ha 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 ha. Or you drink your pink champagne and laugh. All along that day. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. Let me tell you. Listen. Just now, I open up my internet, and the first thing that comes through, because they be really trying my stilo is what they doing. Talking about Trump threatens to blow everything up if Iran won't make a deal. Trump's threat to blow up everything if Iran won't make a deal hangs over a new ceasefire bid. I'm trying to tell you, if Americans ain't, you can be mad at Trump all you want to. Trump don't give about y'all goddamn feelings. Don't give a fuck about y'all emotions. None of that shit. If y'all ain't gonna match energy, he don't give a fuck. He about to run through this bitch. I see you, Ken's color box. That motherfucker got a hold of the range of power. And he did exactly what I've been telling y'all for 5 years we need to do. He did exactly verbatim. For 5 years, what I've been telling you we are going to have to do if we're going to change everything. What have I been telling y'all? That this motherfucker done went and did. That as a Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, we're going to have a hard ass line. What's the line? Is what the fuck we say. Nothing else. That's the line. Right here, across this threshold, it is what the fuck we say. Who is the we that I'm talking about? First of all, those who have had the audacity to incarnate on this motherfucker with a uterus, with a whole ass portal in their body, y'all first. That's the line. And then everybody who agrees with the line. That's it. It ain't rocket science and it ain't deep. You're going to have an attitude, an audacious, bodacious, unrelenting attitude of fuck what you heard. Today, it is what the fuck we say. That is all. And instead, we have let this slimy slip slide motherfucker get up in the office, take hold of the possession of the reins of power, and do exactly what the fuck we've been saying for 5 years we need to do. He done ran up in that motherfucker and he say, today is what the fuck I say. I don't care what laws I'm breaking. I don't care what institutions I'm destroying. I'll lay waste to this whole motherfucker. Because today it's what the fuck I say. That's exactly what he done went up in there and fucking did. And you can't be mad at him. As a matter of fact, not only can you not be mad at him, you can't be mad at the seemingly unending line of spineless creatures that look like black folks who are now being outed for being Trump supporters. You can't be mad at them either. You can't be mad at them either. You know why? Because he came out here and he threw down the goddamn gauntlet. And he say, fuck what you heard. If you ain't on my side, I'm about to run through all you motherfuckers. I don't give a fuck who it is. Y'all was born and raised here, so-called, what you call it? What you call it? Something citizenship. Fuck y'all. That's what he just said. He said, you Native American, y'all can get it too. Oh, let me see. Y'all done sent some donations through here. Let me big y'all up. Brenda, darling, Brenda Payton, thank you for your donation. Ken's Color Box, thank you for your donation. Candace Williams, thank you so much for your donation. Amber K. Graham, thank you so much for your donation. Yes. Yep. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contributions. Let's see. All right, let's go ahead and get the show on the road. Okay, so the next card is the blend card. Okay, now the affirmation for this card I find interesting, and the meaning for this card, especially today, if I ever get to the topic at hand, which is she is risen. I'm going to get to the topic at hand. Let's see what the time check is. Okay. Because this card is talking about the inner alchemist. Now, given what I've just been going off on for some time, the inner alchemist. So the affirmation is the inner alchemist mixes everything I have ever known I have ever thought or said into a perfect blend. Order is easily bestowed on my life experience. Right? Okay, so I'm gonna read this card to you. Because today it means something different than it has in the past for me. I am the rainbow calling you to relax and allow the perfect blending of all that is within you. I am the mixer of the beautiful elixir. My colors create all that is in your world. In you, I work to create a clarity of thinking that will lead you to the ultimate union with the one. I combine your ideas, your ideals, and experiences into an arrow of truth and aim it at the only target there is. Let me do my work. Everything in the universe is vibration, and vibration can be changed by your mental state. By your mental state. Ooh. By your mental state. Meditation, concentration, reflection, relaxation, all change your vibration. This is divine mixing, blending, tempering of your experience. You have acted, you have tried. Now you must integrate the experience with everything else that is you. I help you to see where it all fits, how things have been changed, and how they can be used. Remember, experience is the test of your ideas. Okay, this is the part right here. Listen. Remember, experience. Well, now I got to tell you the story about Friday that I threatened y'all about all the hours ago. Remember, experience is the test of all your ideas. In your practice, shoot at some definite mark, accept no theories until you have tested them out. Accept no theories unless you have tested them out. Life is your opportunity to try, not to accept. Ooh. Act and then evaluate. Go toward the promise at the rainbow's end. You as an individual choose your direction. Your every action, you choose your direction, your every action. Yet you are indivisible. There we go again with that fascist. You are indivisible from the whole. The cosmic will works through you, yet you must assume total responsibility for every thought and action. You are guided, you have a mission and a purpose, yet you function with complete free will as an independent agent. You are constantly channeling the universal life force into the world through your patterns of thoughts and image. You are the actor. I am the integrator of your actions. Come on in the room. You are the actor, and I am the integrator of your actions. Take time for me. Temperance, the divine blending, happens automatically when you relax. Oh, this card. Okay? Now, there were so many moments I was having in there. But experience is the test of ideas. Let me tell y'all something. Remember I was talking to y'all about all that jargony bullshit and ass bullshit? Let me tell you what happened on Friday. So this dude that I know has this really dope like event center. And he is doing this new project where every Friday he wants to open up the doors to the place to do like a community work day. Where if you don't want it, like I'll be sitting up in here by myself for weeks on end. He's like, if you want to bring your laptop, if you want to bring your work and do your day's work, in community in this dope ass space that's all zen. There's big cushions I've done events that y'all have seen. I've live streamed events from this place several times. It's where I teach a lot of those workshops and shit, is at this beautiful place. And this lounge, and he's got Wi-Fi and everything is set up, and there's snacks and there's this and that and this and that. And so this Friday was the first time. And he says he's going to try it out for the month of April. I was like, you know what? Let me pick up all my stuff, go on outside down here and be in a room where I can get inspired by watching other people work too, right? And there was these two dudes, just posted up working. And I heard them talking to each other about the event. And it was like the main guy, the white guy, because it was a white guy and an Asian guy. The white guy was talking about how they're going to be doing an event where they're going to be hosting like an AI event, but like how to use AI and teach AI, like programming and character development and all kinds of shit. But because this kind of event typically happens in a completely corporate setting, he said he wanted to take it out of the corporate setting and do an event that's just like a corporate setting, like AI brainstorming and teaching and all of that shit, but bring it into space that's very Zen, like where they do all healing events, energy healing, and all of that kind of stuff that I'll be teaching at that event space, right? He wanted to bring it into space where, these were his words, where the bigness of AI, like as a mental, brainy thing, can be grounded in like a, physical healing spiritual space. I was like, that's dope. Like that idea. That's a good ass idea. I like that. I like that idea. And so the homeboy, the Asian dude, was like, yeah, I'm really fascinated by, I had never heard of this until Friday. He was talking about this new thing. So, what do they call it? Cyberpunk, right? So he said there's this new movement called solar punk that is like, that is like contending with the whole idea of cyberpunk. I was like, what the fuck is solar punk and how is it contending? And I don't even really know that much about cyberpunk. You know what I'm saying? I've only ever heard of cyberpunk within the context of music. So I didn't even know it was a thing. You feel me? But anyway, he was saying that cyberpunk is like this whole idea that even though like the collective idea is that when you have these technological advances in society, that these advances should advance the living conditions and situations of the greater society, that everybody should be able to benefit and leap forward as these technological leaps are experienced. He said, but over the last 120 years, we can see that hasn't been the case, that actually the opposite has been the case. This is the understanding of cyberpunk, how every time there is a technological leap forward, the conditions of the poorest or the most marginalized seem to get worse with every technological advance. Oh, well, isn't that something? Isn't that something? How even though we expect that with technological advancements that the conditions of the greater should advance as well, he's saying what we're observing is that with every technological advance, the conditions of the masses get worse. And so this is what has happened within the auspice of cyberpunk, and that shit is deepening with these technological advances that are specifically within the context of AI, right? And he says, so solar punk is a movement that has developed that is actually supposed to contend with the outcome that has been cyberpunk. It is supposed to actually, like the sun, this is what my IG is acting funky. Hold on, let me see how much juice I got on here. It might be I think we okay juice wise. I just need to create a new live. So anyway, he says this is what he said, y'all. He said, so the idea of solar punk is to actually develop new technologies with the idea in mind that this is how this technology is going to advance the life of everybody, not just the few that quote own the technologies, right? I said, well, isn't that fascinating? And so I explained why it was fascinating to me, because I said, because I'm teaching about how our collective consent to center the sun and solar deity, as a sun solar deity society, that's what has us in has us in the quagmire that we are in, is that collectively we all shifted from lunar, earth-centered societies, deity adoration societies, to out of nowhere, instantly shifting to solar-centered deity societies, and how that is showing itself in every single aspect of society, economically, financially, socially, culturally, religiously, and so on and so on. He was like, damn, the Asian kid is like, oh, wow, that's really, really, that's fascinating. You know, how, then what would you call it if you're not, if the sun is what has been destroying the earth, at least, at least, consciously, you know what I'm saying? The acceptance of the supremacy of the sun is what's been in our behavior, has what's been destroying the earth and destroying communities or whatever. Then what would you call something like that instead of solar punk? And I was like, I don't know, maybe lunar punk or earth punk, I don't know, but I just find it interesting that solar punk is the name that I guess y'all have collectively decided is supposed to counter the negative impact of cyberpunk, right? So that's what I say. That's all I say. All of a sudden, the white boy was like, well, you know, I mean, yeah, people worship the sun way back then, but that's not the case now. I said, okay. I said, and what is the basis for that statement that you're making? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, nobody worships the sun anymore. I said, but don't they? He's like, what are you talking about? I said, Jesus is a sun solar deity. Jesus is not a sun solar deity. Jesus is not the sun. I said, but your Bible say Jesus is the son. He was like, he's the son of God. Okay, who is God? I said, I said, I ain't even trying to be slick. I said, I said, are you a Christian? Because you like, we was just talking about the difference between cyberpunk and solar punk, and like, you know, politically in the world, what would solar deity worship look like? What's the impact that it would have on the planet? Right? I said, I mean, it's not rocket science. If it was daytime all the time, the whole earth would look like the Sahara Desert. If there was no night ever, if there was no shade ever, because there would be no shade either. If the if the earth didn't revolve on its axis, that it was daylight all the time, there wouldn't be any shade either. See what I'm saying? Why would there not be any shade? Because if the sun shone 24 hours a day, everybody on earth would live in a climate or in an environment that looks like the Sahara Desert. That's the impact of sun. The sun is actually, as a matter of fact, the word for sun means death. Did you know that? Did you know that? Because every culture recognized that high noon was the most destructive phase of daytime, of the day, right? And so that's why a lot of cultures right now tell you don't be outside between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. because high noon is considered the most destructive time of the day, right? And he was like, well, I hear what you're saying, but that has nothing to do with this conversation. I said, it has everything to do with what I was talking to your Asian friend about, which was, his question was, what would you call it if you don't call it solar punk? And I'm trying to give him the basis behind why I would call it something else, and the evidence that we live in an entire world economy and society that is based on our belief that the sun is life-giving. And it's not. He was like, well, you know, I think you're misconflating the Bible. First of all, Jesus literally spoke out against worshiping the sun. I said, where he do that at? Can you tell me the scripture where he did that at? Because I don't remember Jesus saying nothing like that. Now, there was a lot of scriptures in the Old Testament about not worshiping false gods and false idols and stuff like that. I don't ever remember Jesus condemning sun worship. I don't ever remember him saying that out his own mouth. He said a bunch of other fucked up stuff, but he didn't say that. He didn't say that. He didn't say he wasn't the son. He didn't say that. He didn't. Well, Jesus was about peace. I said, Jesus, what? He didn't say that neither. He didn't say that neither. He didn't say I'm the peacekeeper, the peace bringer, this and that. And this. He didn't say that. I said, and I'm not even talking philosophically or anything like that. I said, because I don't believe in Jesus. I'm just saying, I still read the Bible today. I grew up reading the Bible. I grew up reading the Bible with people around me telling me at 8 years old I was going to be a preacher in a institution that at that time did not have female ministers. You feel me? So I know the book. You feel me? And And then I said, well, okay, well, let's not talk about Jesus, because it's really, that's not why I brought this conversation up. All I said is everything, even today, is still the evidence of centering the sun in our whole lives. And Jesus, I mentioned just in happenstance, is a sun solar deity, is the last of many 52 sun solar deities. Right. And so I said, well, we can take it out of that context. Let's talk about yin yang theory. Like, the yin is the white, it's the sun, it's the fire, it's the the yang is the sun, the fire, the oxygen, the air, the ether, all this big intangible stuff. And I said at the root of it is about the overall root of yin yang theory is about the ever present, quote, dynamic flow, if you will. Some people call it struggle, but it's a dynamic ebb and flow. The all present, ever present in every space in the universe, all the way to the atoms, is the dynamic ebb and flow in the dynamic ebb and flow of trying to maintain a harmonious balance between yin and yang. Even that is always in flux, but that we're trying to keep you as comfortable. That's what the flesh says. That's what the environment says. So we're trying to keep you the most comfortable with the least amount of disruption, except for these moments where these disruptions in your comfort kind of are needed, like the change in seasons, right? And I said, and so basic yin yang theory, I said, y'all both are familiar with yin yang theory. They were both like, yeah. I said, well, in basic, not trying to get complicated, but basic yin yang theory says, that the harmony of opposites or the duality of opposites exists everywhere in everything in the universe. And do you know what this white boy said to me? 33 years old. Now, we talked. So he knows that I'm 50. He was like, get out of here. You're not 50. I was like, yeah, I'm 50. He's like, you can't be 50. I said, how old do you think I am? He's like, can I be honest? This 33-year-old kid. He said, can I be honest? He was like, I was thinking maybe you were in your late 20s. I said, boy, if you don't stop. Because he wasn't trying to gas me up. He wasn't trying to come on to me or nothing. He was just a regular ass kid, right? He's like, I can't believe you are in your 50s. I was like, yeah. I said, I have a child that's just 3 years younger than you. As a matter of fact, Morgan's going to be 30 years old next week, my baby. You feel me? He was like, I knew you were like 29. We've established this. I'm 50. You're 33. And so when I tell you that the easiest way to understand yin yang is that it is a representation of everything in the universe. The harmonious relationship between seeming opposites, the dualisms, right, that exist and can be expressed in everything in the universe. He was like, well, that doesn't make sense. That's not true. What do you mean that's not true? Like, I don't understand that statement. He said that's not true. Yeah, harmony, balance, and a struggle between opposites. It might exist some places, but it can't exist everywhere. I said, excuse me? I said, I don't even understand what you're saying. I don't even understand what you're talking about. He was like, I'm not trying to debate with you. I'm just telling you what you're saying is not logical. It doesn't make any sense. I said, what is the basis behind your contention? I said, what's the basis of your contention of what I'm saying? Because I said something simple. The struggle to maintain balance through opposites exists everywhere. That's not an opinion. It's just what it is. It's just science. Whether you say yin yang or whether you say E equals MC squared, you're still talking about the same thing. The dynamic struggle to get to the most comfortable place with the least antagonisms. And sometimes those dynamics become bigger and bigger, but they always seek to come back to center. That's it. That's all. Whether it's a different language, doesn't matter. I said, I can use whatever language makes you comfortable, but you need to explain to me what the basis of your contention is. He's like, what you mean? He's like, and you act like you're getting mad. I'm not getting mad. I'm asking you no question. What is the basis of your contention with what I'm telling you? You asked, and I'm telling you. And now you are contending with everything I'm saying to the point that you tell me I'm not being logical. I said, so tell me. And the other thing, these hyper pontificating jargoneers do is, like I talked to y'all 2 hours, 3 hours ago, because they have no emotional expression on their face, because they have no inflection in their voice, because they do not make frowny faces or hype faces or smile faces or laugh faces, and their eyes don't move and their eyebrows don't move, that somehow if you quote get expressive in your ideas about what you are communicating, then you are being combative. And I really wasn't trying to debate. What I was trying to do is just tell you that your ass don't know shit because you black and female, and everything you said is illogical. And somehow, I'm telling you, that somehow that makes that shit less offensive. Somehow, you saying it with a straight face without some emotional inflection on your face or in your voice makes me want to knock your teeth out less. Feel what I'm saying? I said, all I'm telling you is you telling me that what I'm saying is illogical. I said, what is the basis of your understanding? I said, if you are going to contend with what I'm telling you that you asked, what is the basis of your contention? I don't understand. Of course you don't understand, because your ass is fucking 33, bitch. I said, what is the basis? I said, what is the background that you have that gives you the authority to contend with what I am saying? So you just talking about how many books you done read? Girl, that's what he said. That's what he said. That's what he said. You just talking about how many books read? I said, books, bitch. I said, boy, I spent 10 years, longer than that, truth be told, collectively, 12 years in college, 4 degrees to show for it. All the kids that lived in my house, college graduated, doing their thing. The fuck you mean? Because you done read some books. And let me just say, I tell y'all this all the time, but I want to reiterate it before I move on. That if that discussion had happened exactly the same way, leading up to the point that he said that what I was saying out of my mouth was illogical, and I will tell you what he combated with. Oh, child, as soon as he said it, I was like, fuck, I wish I would have been recording this interaction. God damn. And as soon as he said what he said, I was like, okay, we can just go ahead and end this discussion. So I was like, but you know what? You're right. We shouldn't have even gotten this deep, because I was talking to your friend anyway about his idea about solar prompt, and went right back to talking to his friend. So let me tell you what he said. When I said, what is the basis of your contention? I said, what's your background? Do you have a background in science? Do you have a background in Chinese science and medicine? Do you have a background in like biological science, chemistry, statistics? Like, what is the basis of your contention and your identification that what I am saying is illogical and doesn't make any sense? Child, he said, I'm not trying to debate with you. I'm just trying to say that what you're saying is not true. It can't be true. And it's not logical. He said, so what you're saying, based on how the harmony of opposites exist everywhere, he was like, based on that logic, what did he say? Oh my God. He said, if for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. He said it. I didn't. He said, if for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, and you're saying that yin and yang is the same as E equals MC squared, which is for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? He's saying even the science of, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, even that doesn't apply to everything. That's what he said. He said it doesn't apply to everything. He said because using that logic, we're just going to go with for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, okay? He said, so let me tell you, in a situation where that doesn't make any sense, proving that what you're saying doesn't exist everywhere. I said, okay. I said, tell me, do you know what this child said? Child. That's what he was at 33. He was a child. Not only a child, an infant child. Okay? This boy said, If we're going to use for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction, and this exists everywhere in the universe, then by that logic, if I stand up, you would have to stand up. I said, what? I said, say that again. He said, if for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, if I stand up right now, that logic says you have to stand up. I said, is that what that say? Then he said, it got worse. Then he said, okay, maybe that wasn't a good enough example. He said, okay, so based on the logic that you talking about, based on what you saying, that for every action is equal and opposite reaction, or quote, the harmony of opposites. That's what he said. That's how he said it. He said, better yet, if I get up and I walk out of this room, somebody else will have to walk right back in this room behind me to harmonize the environment. Oh. Woo! Woo! I said, what? I said, wait a minute. Huh? Wait a minute. The fuck? Huh? I said, Lord have mercy. I said, I ain't trying to confuse you, child. I said, let me give you an example of what I mean and how it exists everywhere. I said, you don't have to think about it. Your body is constantly in a state of flux to try to keep you the most comfortable. So what is the example of that? I said, you get too hot in here because it's hot up in here. I said, you get too hot up in here, you can go and set that thermostat to the temperature that you in your mind know is comfortable to you. Set that temperature at 72 degrees. Whether you are up in here or not, what the thermostat is monitoring is the rise and fall of the temperature, and that it, through the mechanisms we have created, will always try to establish what you have told it is balanced, is harmonious for you to be comfortable in this space. So the thermostat is what's monitoring the rise and the fall of the temperature, and then it will kick on, whether you're present or not, to quote, modify the temperature to make it so that it is harmonious and peaceful and shit. This is a great mechanical example of what happens in your own body. You don't really need to turn on that air conditioner, as it were, because your body will say, damn, it's hot up in here and I don't like being uncomfortable in heat. So let me open up these pores and dump out some sweat to attempt to self-regulate my temperature. If you get cold, your body does exactly the opposite thing. If you get too cold, your pores will close and you will have some little goosebumps and your hairs will stand at an attention. And in this stressful moment, your body will begin to shiver to generate the warmth to keep you comfortable, attempt to keep you comfortable in a quote environment where you are not comfortable. I said, that is the example of what I'm talking about that exists everywhere in the universe. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to think, okay, I'm cold, let me shiver. Right? Yep. Everything in the universe is struggling to maintain a position, a state of harmonious unity within the one that is itself. It's not about you getting up out the room and somebody having to walk. I said, he's like, that doesn't even make sense. Talking about his example. You see how it doesn't work? Yeah, okay, there's some harmony in some things. There's some balance in some things, but you saying that for every action is equal and opposite. I said, nigga, I didn't say that. I said, Joe Einstein said that. I didn't say that. Einstein said that. The guy who's supposed to be a genius, you feel me? He said that. I didn't say that. He said that in everything, that in all things, for every action there is going, whether you can see it or not, whether you can internalize it or not, for every action there is an equal and opposing action. I didn't say that. Einstein said that, and all his scientists home who consented, who contended that yes, this nigga know what he talking about, and that sound right, and this is how we can measure that. That ain't my opinion. You talk about some, if you get up and leave the room, then by that logic, somebody else got to walk into the room to make it balanced. I said, Lord have mercy. Jesus, come and get your people. Just please. This shit is laborious. Please come and get your peoples. I say, I said, what's your point? I said, what's the basis of your contention? I don't understand what you mean. I said, I know exactly. I know that you don't understand what I mean. What I mean is where you got your degrees from, nigga. I didn't go to college, but I know that I don't have to read books. That's what he said. Oh my God. I don't have to read books to know what I know. What's the basis of your knowing, child? Where you get your information from? Who taught you? If you ain't gonna read a book, that's fine. There are a lot of motherfuckers out in the world who's smart, who brilliant, ain't cracked open the spine of a book, but they had teachers, they had mentors, they had something. But what this shit has done is taught white people and white men in particular that they are genius without having to test any ideas. That's how I got off on that. I had to tell y'all that story because 3 times I was like, I gotta tell y'all what happened on Friday. They ain't got to pay no dues. They ain't got to conduct no personal experiments. They don't have to test their ideas. That smarty shit that I was telling y'all about, how the members of the cult from 2,500 years ago was called the Smarties. This moment where they achieve divine bliss, where their sunlight in their skull is so big that they don't need to have no flesh. These Smarties. And this damn Glenn Carr said, listen, experience is the best test of ideas. Don't nobody want to hear what you think you know in your motherfucking skull, and you ain't lived, you ain't busted a grape, you haven't been a scientist. And what I mean by being a scientist is just what you say. I'm not talking about being in the lab, going to a scientific school. I'm talking about the shit that you consume. What percentage of this shit you just hold hostage in your head as knowledge? Knowledge, the 7 super supreme divine infinite. Huh? What percentage of this shit you hold in your skull, hold in your dome, you have integrated through the use and application in your flesh to say, okay, this idea that sounded good in here, I tried to work it in different ways in the world. I tried to apply it this way. I tried to use it in this relationship with my friend. I tried to do this and this and this and this and this. That shit didn't work. No way that I tried it. So for me, it might work for somebody else in their peculiar situation. But for me, this idea that I had in my head that I thought sounded good as a belief system, once I tried that shit out, I was like, that ain't no belief that is applicable to me, because I have tried and tested through experience and application this shit that I just hold hostage in my head. This motherfucker talking about. And the other thing that I have to continue to remind you of, the winner. And when I say winner, I'm talking about winning people too, not winner again, not winner in opposite. Because I ain't got no stakes in this shit. I keep telling y'all, I don't have any stakes in this shit. I can see all this shit burn to the ground. I'll say, right on. Let's level the motherfucking playing field out here and get this new world built. Now that we ain't got to weave through no old ass structures that refuse to die. No, let's just wreck all this shit, start the fuck all over. I ain't got no stakes in this monstrous bitch. You feel me? But so I be trying to win people, and then there'll come a moment where I'm like, there's nothing to win here. There's nothing to win here. You got it. That's it. That you got it. Talking about, oh my God, it's an insult to infants to call this nigga infantile in his thinking. Bless him. That you are so convicted in the superiority of whiteness that you will hold on to stupid for dear life. It's madness. You will literally hold on to stupid for dear life. As somebody is trying to put you up on game. If somebody in real time is trying to level up your understanding. That is madness. This card right here say, test your shit before you accept it as an idea you want to keep. It says right here, accept no theories until you have tested them out. Ain't I always telling y'all that? Y'all don't have to believe nothing I say. Fortunately, we live in the age of information where all you got to do as soon as I say some shit, you'll be like, that show is good. That sounds good what she's saying, but let me go on over here and fact check what the hell she talking about. Because it may sound good, but there's so many charlatans out here. Let me just fact check everybody. Do that. Me included. Do that. Because I'm going to tell you, it was coming to me again. I forgot it just that quick again. Heaven is under the earth, or heaven is on the. Is who is this song? Ooh, what is the song? Heaven is on the earth. Somebody tell me what song I'm thinking about. Heaven. That's just the lyric in the song. Heaven is on the earth. Heaven is on. Heaven is on the earth. Ooh. Surprise me and tell me what song I'm thinking about. Because somebody's going to be upset because I'm telling you, you ever accepted as a spiritualist, as a religious devotee, as a dogmatic practitioner of quote, that's just how I was raised, throw it all in the garbage and you will be better off. I know somebody is going to be upset. Ooh, 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 because we've heard it from our enemy, from our adversary for so long, that the grand antithesis to your Lord Jesus Christ and Savior, the self-proclaimed Antichrist, would emerge talking about a day where they can promise peace unimaginable, right? Peace unimaginable. And in that day, you will be able to buy, sell, or trade. And in that day, right, this deceiver promising perpetual peace will tell you that there is no need for religions of all these kinds, that now we can all find peace under one religion. And you were like, oh my God, but what will I do without my Lord Jesus Christ and Savior and shit? And so you've been fed these horror stories, not understanding that there is an interpretation that you have never considered, that the Messiah that you are waiting for is you, that the world of peace that you have been promised is you, that the Antichrist that is in contention with your Christ or your Messiah is also you. You are the Messiah. You are the Christ. You are the Antichrist. Heaven is on earth, the actual earth, and you, the earth. You, the earth, you, and heaven. You as heaven, you as earth. It's not even something that I'm trying to win you to. I am telling you that all of these Abrahamic religions learned from all of these Eastern Asian religions that spelled out plainly, not a metaphor, that your head is your sky, that your feet is your earth, that your root is what grounds the both, that your heart is the horizon through which they meet, through which heaven and earth meet. You as the sun, you as the sun, you as the sun rising and falling below and above the horizon, which is your heart, which is the moment where the cross meets, the cross crosses, the arm of the horizon and the arm that connects heaven and earth, they meet right here at your heart chakra. Why your heart chakra? Because it is the odd number between the three above and the three below. They literally spelled it out plain. And these motherfuckers got behind closed doors for 3 months at the Council of Nicaea and rewrote the sky and rewrote the language and created the one world religion that you have forever been avoiding. It's a one world religion with an antichrist who coming to fight Jesus and all of this. That shit happened in 325 AD. That shit they've been milking since 325 AD. That shit happened under Constantine. And then they repeat, they rinse, recycle, buff the edges, repeat. Rinse, recycle, buff the edges, repeat. New day, new period, new collective worldview, rinse, recycle, maybe dye it, color it a little bit, sew up the tattered edges, and buff the edges, repeat. They done gave you how many? 16 antichrists? They are like, damn, this shit keep working? Shit, we thought we was just gonna get a couple of good 100, couple of years out of this shit. This shit done been working this long. That's what they said. Constantine established the first world religion. Constantine not only established, quote, the first world religion, Constantine in 325 AD, 1700 years ago, May of last year, Constantine established the first state ordained religious institution, one world institution that was solidified by the power of the state, weapons, arms, warfare. You gonna worship our Jesus, motherfucker. The Jesus that I say we worship, the Jesus that we constructed and crafted and molded with our own hands. We 318 men behind closed doors for 3 months. This the Jesus you gonna. So if this ain't the Jesus you gonna work, because there was all these other sects of Jesus worshipers, all them other sects, the Essenes and the all them other ones. That's like, okay, after we done had this meeting behind closed doors, this who Constantine say Jesus is. This who Constantine say Jesus did, what he did, what he didn't do. These are the books that we kept. These are the books that we burnt and shit or whatever. And so all you little fringe worshipers of the Jesus, now y'all are heretics, and now y'all can die by hanging on the cross or tossed in the ovens or whatever. Because the only Jesus and the only Christianity that is valid is what Constantine, the emperor, say. So here we are in the year 2026. What is that? 1700 years after. Exactly. 1700 years after Constantine established the first one world religion, one world currency. Yes, he did. Because Constantine ruled the Roman Empire, which was what? Which was every single territory in Europe, was most of what we call the Middle East today, was a great portion of Asia, China, India, South Asia, Japan, and Africa as far down as Ethiopia. That was the world at the time. That was the known world. Egypt had long been conquered, was in its last dynasties under white rule. The last 3 dynasties of Egypt were under Roman rule, Greek and then Roman rule. He ruled the entire known world. He did. And here we are in 2026 talking about Jesus coming back, and he gonna rapture the church, and then he gonna let everybody fall into dismay and shit in the 7-year tribulation, and then Jesus gonna come back and fight the great whore of Babylon and the dragon on which she rideth, and all of this bullshit and ass bullshit. You are the key. You are the secret. You are the God. You are your salvation. You are also your destruction. It is of your choosing. You are your salvation. You're blinded by the light, white light, heavenly sky that is threatening to burn your entire earth in the age of the desert, in the age of the sun gone rogue, threatening the entire empire. What's the empire? What's the emperor? Your heart is the emperor. This shit is spelled out plain, kindergarten plain. But we've been told that it's metaphor, that it's mythology. Nope. Traditional Chinese medicine spelled that shit out plain enough for a kindergartner to understand in paint and limerick and song and dance. We had to learn the songs in Chinese medicine in my graduate program. We had to learn the songs. I don't remember none of them, so don't ask me. We had to learn the songs. Every plant had its own song. Did you know that? Every plant in Chinese medicine, how they learn Chinese herbology, every plant has its own song. Every formula, more than 2 plants combined in a formula, every formula has its own song. Did you know that? Anyway, So stop debating, motherfuckers. I guess that's the takeaway for me. Blend all of the information. That's the other takeaway with the temperance card, with the blend card. It is in a rainbow. You see this rainbow right here? And you see how this got them black lines between each color in the rainbow? That shit ain't real. That ain't what no rainbow look like. There ain't no black lines in between the colors. The colors just seem to fuse effortlessly from one color to the other. And you can still see the distinction in each color, but you cannot see the point where one starts and the other one ends. This is the temperance. This is the blending that creates the magic of the moment, which is the rainbow. The rainbow that symbolizes a promise. A promise of what? What does the rainbow promise? What does she say in the card? At the end of the rainbow, what does she say? Where did she say that at? Where did she say that at? The last thing that the spirit of temperance says is you are the actor. What does that mean? Action, bitch. Action, bitch. Action, bitch. Trust. She says relax in the integration. Relax in the bringing up and the divine blending of all of your experiences. Everything that you are, every person that you've met, every experience that you've had has brought you to this moment of divine blending. Trust. And in the relaxation of trust, let me do my work. That's what she said right here. You are the actor and I am the integrator of your actions. Take time for me. Temperance, the divine blending, happens automatically whenever you relax. That's why this motherfucker don't let up on y'all. that's why this, and I ain't just talking about Trump. I'm talking about every single solitary president you have ever had, every single solitary senator you have ever had, every congressperson, every representative is constantly on your back trying to convince you that what's happening to you is what it is. That the mythology and the illusion, they come together as the fascists of the fascists. The bound together with one head to destroy. That's it. That's all it can produce is destruction. Bureaucracy becomes a weapon of destruction. Yeah, it does. Bureaucracy, jargon, optical illusions in the form of TV, videos, this and that, and this and that, all become necessary instruments of destruction. Why? Because we live in a godhead of war. We are devotees, whether we acknowledge it or not. We are all devotees of a godhead of war. If you go out and diligently pay your taxes every year, yes, I know it's terrible to hear, but until we create something else, just like we have created this, that's the thing that we all have to concede. We have all created this. We have all played our peculiar role in the creation of this monstrosity that plagues us all. We have all played a role. Whether it's because of the beliefs of our childhood, the convictions of the religions imposed on us, culturally, I think I'm this and that and this and that. Yes, I still have to go and work at this job that literally sucks the life out of me every day because I don't see no way out. It's because you have not come together collectively, the blending. You have not come together collectively to say, if we built this monstrous, that what did the previous card tell you? Take true stock of your resources. You haven't even done that. You haven't taken true stock of your resources. What you continue to do is beg the burglar to give you some of your shit back. That's what you have continued to do. You can, and I'm not making light of this shit. I'm telling you, man, this shit be up in here perplexing me. Because we all do it. We all do it. This motherfucker has you convinced that if you make a good enough argument at the supreme level, that if you declare yourself with enough articulate diction, placement, and a clear analysis for the justices to understand on the terms that they set, that you may win. Excuse me. You may win your petition with them, depending upon how well you articulate your case in a soft and monotone voice with no expression of emotion on your face that can dishevel or dissuade them from seeing your position. Okay, well, y'all do that. Supreme Court justices, the fuck? Can we establish new institutions? Can we re-erect the Council of of the the Fates? Can we establish a counselor of crone elders as the disseminators of judgment, and in partnership with the council of 13 crones, you feel me, then to have the executioners of their judgments go out in the world to right all wrongs. You become the hand of God. You become the hand. Who is God? Those 13 crowns sitting up on the council, you feel me, saying this is our judgment. Sister so-and-so, brother so-and-so, baby so-and-so then came to the council and said, this person done committed this aggression against me. These are the facts. They are given the opportunity to say, I did or I did not do what this person is saying. And our judgment is this, that, and such. If the crime is one that does not require us to go out and turn your ass into fucking fertilizer, that you may be able to have a true restorative justice processes under the crowns. And it will be the mothers, it will be the others, it will be the children of, it will be the males who are still tied and connected to a relationship to the mothers, that will be the hand of justice that says we comply to the will of the mothers, because we know under the mothers everything can be made well that has been made sick on this goddamn planet. So we stand 10 toes down. This is how we is. We stand 10 toes down with the grandmas. We gonna give the grandmas the opportunity. We gonna give the crones the opportunity to write this shit. Give them about 100 years to clean up the mess, and it won't take that long. And whatever they say, we these are mamas. These are mamas. They are the representation of the spirit of the singular one, the she from which we all came. They, as the 13 crowns, we as the disseminators of divine justice, all the babies across all the races and across all the genders and across all the ages, we they babies. It's what the fuck they say. Whatever they say, that's what we will. That's what you do it for nothing now. You do it for nothing now. You do it for a fucking bunch of billionaires. You do it for a bunch of old ass men who hate the sight of you except for that which they can take advantage of and exploit out of you. Whether it's exploit you as children sexually, whether it's exploit you as quote, human machines. You the robots, bitches. You the robots. In their minds. You the robots. You have no feelings. You have no opinions. They are bound to respect. They tell you that. What didn't Dred Scott decision say that? There are no rights in the possession of black people where the state is bound to acknowledge or acknowledge or what was the Dred Scott judgment? Black people ain't got no rights that we bound to respect. When did that change? Did that change sometime and I missed the memo? That shit ain't changed. Mexicans ain't got no goddamn rights we bound to respect. That's why we hauling them out their motherfucking houses for everybody to see, to terrorize the whole goddamn community. Native Americans was here fucking 15 millennia, 30 millennia before we was here. Native Americans ain't got no motherfucking rights we bound to respect. Y'all so happy, y'all so malignant that as long as Dred Scott was referring to black folks, y'all all right with that. Not seeing that even in your proximity to whiteness, you are still niggas. All of you. Women are niggas. Others are niggas. Black people are niggas. Babies are niggas. Infants are niggas. Children, niggas. gay people, niggas, trans people. You are all the niggas of the world. And your proximity to whiteness has made you sick. Sick, 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 sick. You have become your own personal saboteur in your hatred of blackness and your hatred in particular of black femininity. You have become your greatest saboteur. You are drunk on the poison you've been breastfeeding on from your male mother. Ooh, that hurt. You are drunk to the point of self-destructive cataclysm from breastfeeding from the fucking toxic ass, cancerous ass, malignant ass male mother. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck where you from Africa, Fiji, New Zealand, India, Europe. I don't care. Your ass is sick. And the more you hate the medicine, the sicker you become, and the quicker you walk all of us into goddamn cataclysm. I'm trying to give you a word. You look into the night sky every night. You go by the campfire like, oh my God, the stars are so amazing. It's so dark out. It's so beautiful. Look at the moon. Oh my God, it's so, y'all want to do ritual in the moon naked under the piney trees? You love the night sky and hate your black ass mother. And anything that looks like her. Anything that reminds you of her. Because even if it's midnight on a new moon and it's pitch black outside, you are still blinded by the brilliant, bright, desert, high noon sunstorm that is your skull. Because you have centered the sun solar deity in your whole existence. We're just going to pray for more light. We're just going to pray for more light in these times of darkness. Bitch, it ain't darkness. You blinded by the light. It's bright outside. It's bright outside. It's been bright outside for about 2,500 years. It's bright outside. Even when it's pitch black, it's bright in your head. It's bright in your heaven. Heaven is not white. Nowhere in the universe is heaven white. Not even on this earth. Heaven is not white. Heaven is not blue. Heaven is not a blue sky. There is no such a creation as a blue sky. There is no such a creation as a sky father. There is no such invention as a male sun, by the way. But y'all don't want to go that deep. So she say, get yourselves together, just like they do in opposition to you. Just like the fascia of your tissues. All these singular muscle fibers bound together, moving in one accord for one aim and one objective is to make life on earth as peaceful and harmonious for you as it can be. These motherfuckers done tossed an X or an arrow in your ease and in your peace. Is what they did. They took your mother's instrument, you as the sons, you as the disseminators of the mother's justice. That's what you was. That's what this was. And y'all out here talking about, we hate fascism. This is fascism. No, the fuck it's not. No, it's not. And that's what I'm going to stay teaching y'all. I'm going to stay dragging y'all asses until we have enough information where we can have the confidence to go out here and stage a goddamn opposition with our unruly ass son, with our unruly ass children, gone the fuck astray and run the fuck amok. That's why when I was talking to you about the zine that I'm working on and how there has to be a whole section of the zine about how to call back, how to win back, how to call the prodigal son to return home so that in his perceived, because even as he perceives he is separate, even as he has done all of this destructive shit to separate himself from, to elevate himself over, to subdue his fucking mother. We are one. Mommy and I are one in all ways, in all personifications. We are one. We are one. It's only an illusion in your skull of separation. What did I tell you? The white boy said on what's it called? Morgue Official. He said that the Christ said that when I return, the only reason that I am coming, the only reason I am returning is to mend all divisions, to heal all separations, to change everything, to make the seen unseen and unseen seen, to make the top the bottom and the bottom to top. What is he talking about if he is not talking about the yin and yang as a calendar of time that we can actually see with our eyes in the night sky if it's dark enough outside? What else is he talking about? Y'all say it. Even Christians will say it. For them 33 years where he just seemingly disappeared off the face of the earth and then he just emerged a teacher, teaching everybody this and that and to and fro. There's like, well, there is these thoughts that maybe he went to go study with the Buddhist monks up in Tibet and shit in the monasteries. Well, so why me telling you that what he is saying when he is saying, when I come to save the world, when I come to change everything, that I have come to mend all divisions. What's the division? It's what I was showing you with the sign of Cancer. I was like, holy fuck, this isn't just some alchemical symbol. This is a prophecy, the sigil of the Cancer, which is what? Literally in your face. It's the opposition of the 6 and the 9, right? The 6 and the 9 that are now successfully separated. This is the yin and the yang, successfully separated and all yin removed. I said, this is a fucking prophecy. And not only is it a prophecy, it is literally in your face, told to you as if you were a kindergartner, that in this period, in the sky, where all the ancients perceived that the end of days would occur in the sign of Cancer. All these traditions that had not even met, these societies, civilizations had never even met before, but they all, was what, 5 or 6 of them, all said that the end of days as we know it would occur in the sign of Cancer. But why did they call it Cancer? Who was the first to call it Cancer? This sign that we say is, quote, supposed to mean crab, because that's what Cancer means in Latin. It means crab. I said, It was the medical text in the papyrus of ancient Egypt, the medical text, when they were identifying for the first time tumors, actual cancerous tumors that look like what? They said scarabs, clawed entities that have a singular center and claws like a crab or a goddamn scarab. I said, this is actually what prophecy looks like. They told you there would come a time. How can I say this? What is prophecy? Is prophecy just seeing the future and shit like that? No, and this is some shit we're gonna have to reconcile. Prophecy is remembering. That's all. That's what I'm convinced of. Prophecy is nothing more than remembering. If time has been manipulated, which it has, not only manipulated, this isn't just about prophecy of a whole society of human beings that will be overcome by cancer. What do I mean by that? For the first time since they've been taking the statistics last year, more people died of cancer than even high blood hypertension. Hypertension historically has been the greatest killer of human beings in the United States. Last year, cancer surpassed hypertension for the first time ever. Everybody got cancer. Everybody you know got cancer. I cannot believe how many personal stories in the last 3 years of people that I have known personally close to me that have had cancer. My mother being one. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? It's not just healthy diet. My mama is the healthiest motherfucker I ever met. Ever. And has been. My stepfather, same way. They both are perplexed. Like, we did everything right. When I tell you, their diets were immaculate my whole life. And so they feel like their bodies have betrayed them. Not that something is happening to the environment to ensure this is the outcome. Do you understand what I'm saying? But this isn't just about cancer, the disease, and this period, because this isn't just about your food either. So stop turning in on yourself like somehow you are malignant somebody because you just don't eat right or you just don't take enough multivitamins. When since what's his name? Oppenheimer split the atom and created fission bombs, nuclear weapons, the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of nuclear weapons that have been tested, and you act like that shit just don't go nowhere in the environment, don't impact the soil. Hundreds of nuclear weapons that have been tested since 1942 when he split the atom. And all of a sudden, you can't understand why all these babies dying from goddamn leukemia. Babies ain't lived long enough to develop no disease. Babies got leukemia. Babies got brain tumors. Babies got bone cancer. You don't ask no questions because the language is coming from these quote medical professionals who practice the scientific method. It's you cannot challenge it. You cannot question it because it is consensus medicine and research that is peer reviewed and it is unwavering. Bullshit, 1,000 million times bullshit. 1,000 million times bullshit. Especially now that we learned that Ghislaine Maxwell daddy is the one who wrote most of the articles, the peer-reviewed research articles that I'm telling you I love reading, like novels. And somebody was just saying 2 weeks ago how you have to question every story, every study you ever read because of his influence on the whole field of peer review research. I said, God damn, I can't take no more. Okay. But that's the nature of this. Worship a God of war. If you erect and create whole institutions seated in the solidification in human consciousness of the legitimacy of gods of war, there is nothing that they produce that is life-giving or life-affirming. Isn't that what I've been trying to teach y'all for 5 years about yin-yang theory? That yang, if separated from yin, is always destructive. That's the science. Yes, it's science. It's Chinese language and methodology and metaphor, but translate it to Western science if that's what you need, as young as it is. If that's what you need, oxygen will kill you. Oxygen is flammable. Oxygen is destructive. If what? If not anchored by those two hydrogen molecules that make it water. It's vapor water, but it's still water. What you breathing is not oxygen, bitch. What you are breathing is water. That's what you breathing. Because you could not just, when you see the old people get an oxygen tank, because they need little sips of pure oxygen, because they ain't getting enough oxygen in their blood through their own breathing mechanism for whatever reason. They have COPD or this and that and this and that. The little tank that they get got big old flames on it, don't it? You ever seen one of them big ass red oxygen tanks or silver oxygen tanks they got to bring home with the oxygen? It's got a big old giant flame on it that says flammable. How many stories you hear every year of people house exploding because they love to smoke a cigarette every now and again, then they'll take their little puffs of oxygen and get too close to the oxygen tank. What did the doctors who prescribe the oxygen tanks, what do they tell them? Don't be just sitting around huffing on this shit. Take a few breaths every few hours, because it's oxygen unpaired with the two hydrogen molecules. It's pure oxygen, which is flammable, which is destructive, which, if taken too much, causes oxidative stress. What does oxidative stress cause? Cancer, bitch. Oxidative stress is the leading cause of cancer. Did you know that? So this is the example. Anytime yang is separated in its relationship, not anchored in a relationship with the yin, where there's no separation, it is always deadly. It is always destructive. This is 3,000-year-old science. It's not metaphor, bitch. It's observed scientific method that white people didn't understand. That's all. Just because you didn't understand it, don't make it any less scientific. Or they deliberately pervert it. And that's a discussion for another day. Lao Tzu, said that yang, whatever form yang is in, if it is not anchored in a relationship with yin, it is always destructive. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. So, anyway. All right. So now, let's read one more. Okay, I got 2 more cards. Damn, it took like 4 hours to get through them damn cards. Okay, so this is from a deck I haven't read from for you guys. But I was like, you know what? I think Black Moon Lilith might have some things to say today. This is a really cute deck. I don't remember where I got it, but this is called the Black Moon Lilith Cosmic Alchemy Oracle. Look at that black goddess with that serpent coiled around her neck. Black Moon Lilith. Okay? By Adama Sese. If you try to get at it. The Black Moon Lilith Cosmic Alchemy deck. So I said, you know what? Let me pull a card from this deck today. I've only read from this. I see you, high voltage woman. I see y'all in the comment section over here on the YouTube. Okay, so let me all right, so this card that I pulled, this is the first card I pulled from this deck in a long time. Anyway, it was about time. So it's called this card is called Exaltation Card, the Master Manifester. Come on in the room, as I need to stay in my apartment. Like, y'all don't know, man. I'm not stressing. I'm not saying that. But it's crunch time. When I got home, this dude was at my door putting another eviction notice on my door. I said, I've already gotten this. He was like, well, they told me to deliver it to you. I said, but I've already gotten this. I already have a court date on Wednesday morning at 8:00. I said, why would they be sending me another eviction notice? Like literally right before I got up on this live. He's like, well, you need to respond within 10 days. I said, respond? I said, I've already responded. I actually have a court case. Anyway, I just got this again. So I'm telling you, it's like, it's what it is. And so I thank you for this card, the Exaltation Master Manifester card. I'm going to show y'all the card. It's cute. It's got what looks like a mama and her 2 babies dancing. That's what it looked like. By the water, by the sunset. See her and them 2 little babies? That's what it looked like. It's called the Master Manifester. Maybe like cutting up as the sun going down. I like that card. So let's see what this card has to say. It's 42. All right. The Master Manifester. Exaltation is the feeling of joy, elation, and peace. This phrase describes the Hermetic principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. As within, so without. When you receive this card, it is a sign that you are a master alchemist. Didn't we just read the alchemy card? The blend card as the master alchemist? It says, when you receive this card, it is a sign that you are a master alchemist. You've transmuted darkness into light and are now using the power of your life force to bend your reality to your will. Thank you so much for the donation, Zaditu. Oh, I love that name. That's gorgeous. What does that mean? Zaditu. Zalditu. Did I pronounce that right? Zalditu? Zalditu? Zaditu? That's pretty. Let's see. To force your life force to bend your reality to your will. To explain this state of consciousness on an esoteric level, we can look at what exaltation means in astrology. This is a part of the metaphysical concept of essential dignities, which describes the condition of a planet based on a zodiacal sign based on the zodiacal sign that it's placed in. An exalted planet can express itself without limitation versus the opposite, the fall, which hinders its strength. For example, the sun is exalted in the fire sign of Aries because it can thrive in this passionate energy. Aries represents the individual and the self. So the sun can be itself there. In Aries' opposite sign, Libra, the sun is in its fall position, creating a shadow on identity. Liberty identifies itself through relationships with others. So if this is your placement, codependency can cause you to dim your own light until later in life. Exaltation phase shadow work. Look at your birth chart to see if you have any exalted planets. Tapping into the power of these can help you during this phase of your journey. The exalted planets are Sun in Aries, Moon in Taurus, Mercury in Virgo, Venus in Pisces, Mars in Capricorn, Jupiter in Cancer, and Saturn in Libra. You are a master alchemist, seamlessly crafting your reality around you. So I'm gonna have to check and see if let me pull out my grimoire. Am I exalted somewhere? I told you I'm still fighting like hell to learn my chart. Where's my grimoire? There it is. Oh, okay. All right. Let's see here. All right. So it said exalted. Let's see what we got going on here. Exalted phase shadow work. So what are planets are the exalted planets are. So my sun is in Virgo. So sun in Aries. Ooh, that's my baby. I should tell her that. So moon in Taurus. My moon is in Capricorn. Moon in Taurus. Mercury in Virgo. No. Where's my Mercury? Hold on. So this is my grimoire work with my still trying to teach myself my own chart. So this is what it's looking like right now. Part of it anyway. So let's see here. My let's see. So it says Sun in Aries, Moon in Taurus, Mercury in Virgo, Venus. It says that my Venus is retrograde in Leo. Interesting. And that when I was born, my Venus was retrograde in Leo when I was born, and this year Venus was retrograde during from 6/22 to 9/4, which is interesting. Okay, so it says Venus in Pisces, so that's not me. Mars in Capricorn. My Mars is in Gemini. Jupiter in Cancer. So let me see where my Jupiter is. So you can see I'm struggling to learn this shit. Let's see. Okay. So that is Cancer. So I got Saturn in Cancer. And then it says Saturn in Libra. Yeah, so mine is in Cancer. So what's my Libra? Oh, and then I have a stellium in my Libra. So what does that mean? Full ass stellium. I got a Pluto, Mercury, Uranus stellium in my Libra. I need to look that up. That sounds serious. That sounds serious. Is that possible? I have 1, 2, 3, 4 stelliums on my chart. Is that possible? See, that's why I need to learn this shit. I have 4. Is that possible? Is it possible for me to have 4 stelliums in a single chart? 1, 2, 3, no, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That ain't possible. I gotta learn this shit. But anyway, so I don't have no exaltations apparently. So I don't even know what that means. But so I guess this whatever. Anyway. So that was that card. Hopefully it meant something to you, because apparently it didn't mean nothing in my shit. I accept it anyway. But anyway. Okay. So that is our pull from Black Moon Lilith. And last but certainly not least, my favorite deck, which is the Kali Oracle deck. Let's see. Please compare those eviction notices. I looked it up. Why 2 eviction notices? And there was something significant between the 2. Also, each notice costs money, so read them carefully. Oh, thank you for that. Because that's what I was saying. I was like, why they do? I just talked to the landlord last Thursday, so like I don't understand why there would be 2. But anyway, so this is Kalika Tantrika. Kalika Tantrika. Kalika Tantrika. Kalika Tantrika. Okay. All right. And this is the first time I've ever pulled this card, so I always love it when that happens. Like I said, this is still a relatively new deck, so I love it when I get a new card that I haven't read before or read to you guys. Okay. So our wild mother goddess overcomes duality, resting in the sweet spot. Ciao. Listen, I love it when it happens like this. Listen, our wild mother goddess overcomes duality, resting in the sweet spot of integration, healing, and creativity. That's the blend card we pulled from the other day. Rest and integration. Right? It says she facilitates the overcoming of tension and conflict, birthing sacred solutions, and elevate and evolution into greater bliss. Kalika Tantrika is Kali, the tantric queen. She overcomes all karma, realigns pathways when we have veered off course, reverses the momentum of negative uses of free will, and detaches draining energy cords, restoring us to full vitality. Her presence announces significant change and positive improvement in all aspects of your life, especially your spiritual life. So that's the introduction to the card. The message for the card is the Tantra of Kali is the teaching of the immanence of the goddess. Her appearance in a reading indicates a time when the feminine principle must be in the dominant position. This is not a declaration that the feminine is superior. It is equal to the masculine, yet different. It is a recognition that the feminine is the holding and birthing energy. To shift from one way, paradigm, or political structure, the feminine must lead. As Kali, she disrupts negative power structures and holds the space for something completely new to emerge from the rubble. The simplest way to describe the eminence of the goddess is that it's the deep respect for intuitive knowing and action taken on the non-rational yet deeply insightful instincts of the heart. This is not about being emotionally reactive. There are multiple expressions of this sacred tantric inversion, placing the sacred feminine in the leadership position and deconstructing patriarchy. We practice it when listening to our intuition with complete courage, rather than rather than going against our inner knowing for the sake of logic. Isn't that what the first card said? Isn't that the story that I told y'all about what happened Friday? Another is reversing the flow of what has been generated. This may mean halting a path you wanted to travel, but have now come to realize it is not honoring of your heart. It could be a breaking down of what has been established because it has become too restrictive and needs to be rebuilt in a new way. I mean, this is literally everything I've been talking about for the last 6 hours. Or perhaps released altogether. Remember that which appealed to the caterpillar, that which appealed to the caterpillar is not going to tempt the butterfly. As the soul evolves, our needs and desires often undergo a profound transformation too. Tantric teachings resonate less with clean, tidy, and methodical approaches, and more with wild, spontaneous shamanic energies innately tuned to and responsive to life. The primal force of the feminine is moving you along your soul, is moving you along your soul. Oh, excuse me, is moving you along your soul journey at present. To tune in to that primal power requires loosening the mental grip over your life. Allow for more space, more flexibility. If your schedule is so tightly wound that every minute is accounted for, set the intention to slacken the reins. The feminine needs freedom. The feminine needs freedom. She cannot be crammed into minimal spaces and expected to thrive. If you try to control her, she will rebel, she will rebel. And when she is Kali, her rebellions topple kingdoms. It is possible to heal and transform, even radically, without evoking her wrathful nature if you are open to her guiding presence. Her wrath is love, so we need not fear it. But it can certainly be a welcome change of pace for powerful shifts to be able to happen with grace and ease. When Kali Tantrika arises in your reading, you are encouraged to listen to your gut and allow for wisdom to emerge. Act according to the instinct and let go of methods that do not resonate with your heart, even if your mind tells you that not following those methods will lead to failure. The Tantra of Kali is the practice of unconditional trust in the feminine. Her ways are unpredictable, um, apparently ever changing. And when she manifests as Kali, if you try to pin her down and control her, she's likely to lop off the offending appendage. Instead, we submit to her, entering into the black void of possibilities and not knowing with the realization that even when we don't know what is going on, the divine feminine does. If we willingly open to her sacred knowledge, rather than try to impose our will and logic and desire upon her, she will show us what is going to work in the moment and for the best. This is a time when the heart knowing must lead above the intellectual assessment of things. It is also when we are best moved by a greater guiding intelligence, rather than doggedly sticking to a plan and trying to assert ourselves. The feminine is not as direct in her approach as the masculine. Her seeds germinate in darkness. Her creative methods are not always seen, yet always powerful. The oracle brings encouragement that even though it seems like your will is being thwarted, or you are not getting what you want right now, or you just wish you could have clarity and know your direction, you are still making progress. Things are coming together in the best way, and something is growing that is aligned with the divine plan you were born to fulfill. Thank you for the donation, Jessica Giroux 4132. Appreciate you so much. And this is your 10th super thanks on a live stream. Thank you so much. Let's see. The feminine is the feminine is not as direct in her approach as the masculine. Her seeds germinate in darkness. Her creative methods are not always seen, yet are powerful. The oracle brings encouragement that even though it seems like your will is being thwarted, or you are not getting what you want right now, or you just wish you could have clarity and know your direction, you are still making progress. Things are coming together in the best way, and something is growing that is aligned with the divine plan you were born to fulfill. You are encouraged to restore your energy. You are encouraged to restore your inner energies and move when you feel inspired rather than thrusting forward in an attempt to make progress. The goddess knows what she's doing. Her actions will benefit you and all beings profoundly. Allow her to have her way with you. The invocation ritual is place your hands at your belly, sense the energies that stir and swirl into life when you place your loving, non-judging attention beneath your hands. Allow your awareness to move deeply beneath your hands as if you are moving into a vast oceanic realm of feminine being within your body, no matter what your biology or gender may be. You can settle and meditate within this feminine presence. Perhaps that presence is gentle ocean waves rising and falling in a rhythmic lullaby, or a raging storm with flashes of lightning and shuddering thunder. Be with what is. Since the grounding as your mental energies begin to descend into the belly and gather there, returning to the primordial and restorative ocean of consciousness deep within the sacral chakra, say the following. Ja Ma Kali, I drop into the realm of deep wisdom located in the belly. I feel for your guidance for the innate pattern of intellect. For the innate pattern of intelligent spiritual becoming that exists within my soul and knows how to manifest itself to fulfillment for the benefit of all beings. I open to your blessings. I let go of that which I held on to more than I have trusted in you. Ja Makali. And that is that for the invocation. That's that. So I'm gonna get up off here. I'm tired. I see you. Royal gets it. Maybe. I just got to shift gears. This is going to be really probably the last. I might do a lot tomorrow, but I really got to first I got to read this 50-page damn document they done put on my door to see if there's any kind of slick move changes they done made to my court date or anything. And so I got to shift my mental gears now. So I probably won't be writing a conspiracy. I might have to come up with something. Because I got to shift my mental gears. I got to pull a jack move, and I still have a ton of stuff that I'm trying to do to win these resources. So if you're open to sharing the so a few things. If you're open to sharing the GoFundMe, that is a way that you can support. If you're interested, email me at EvoEmeTemp@gmail.com, and I will email you the link to the GoFundMe so you can send it out, to others that may be so inclined to contribute to the GoFundMe. Also, I'll be probably right after this developing like a way, maybe maybe as an Eventbrite. I think that'll do. Do it as an Eventbrite. The pre-order, the pre-order of the zine that I am compiling as the first product, like visual product of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. So I'll post that as an Eventbrite. And like I said, I'm organizing an event right now. I'm still moving. I have so many events that I have committed to. Either I'm participating in, speaking in, or the one that I'm organizing as a fundraiser. Because I have to raise a certain amount of money by Wednesday just to stay them off me. But I still have to raise the rest of it by the end of the month to not be up out of here. Because they say if I don't raise the rest, they'll give me until Wednesday to raise the $5,000, and they'll remove the eviction. And then the rest I have to raise by the end of the month. So I'm actually throwing a fundraiser. I just got it's a conference I have to be on. I just found a dude who found an event space owner that's going to let me have the event and the space is freaking dope. I'm holding a benefit concert at the end of the month. I have 3 bands locked in that are going to donate their time to play this concert. I'm working on one more. It's a Mexican punk rock band. They are fire. Oh, they so fire. They so fire. So I'm trying to nail them down. That's still up in the air, but I have 3 confirmed performers for the benefit concert at the end of the month. And but yeah, I just got word this morning that we found a location that is going to donate the space. And so like I got a lot of in the fire, even as I'm, even as I got to show up to court. And then if you want to get an 8.5 by 11 framed logo of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, I'm going to post this on the Etsy store. So that's DaughterOfTheFates.etsy.com. If you want, that'll go out this week. So if you want a full color copy of the logo that y'all see behind me, that is the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence logo that you see on the front of the zine. It's the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence logo, the 8.5 by 11. I'll post this probably right away, like before the sun goes down today. I'll post this on the Etsy store so you can get your copy of that. And you can specify if you just want this like this, or if you want me to draft a conspiracy around the edge. I'll show you so you won't have to imagine what it looks like. So these are a couple of other pieces that I've just pulled together, like little basic collages. This is a quote from the Emerald Tablet. So I'll show you that, which is really pretty. I like this one. So a quote from the Emerald Tablet, but what I did was I wrote backwards the conspiracy. So y'all actually seeing it. It's written backwards. But anyway, it is a conspiracy written around the side in gold, copper, or silver. So if you want to purchase, and this one is the Screaming Hand logo. It's an old skate company. So if you want to receive the temple logo with a personalized conspiracy around the edge in gold, copper, or silver, you can specify that, or you can just buy it as is. Either way. So I'll put that up on the I'll put that up on the Etsy store today. And then again, this is the beginning of the zine. All of this is going to be one zine, by the way. All of this is going to be one zine. So this is the cover. This is the inside cover so far. And then most of it is going to be handwritten. And so it'll be available. And so you can see up close. This is the first inside page. I'm going to have to move that down a little bit better. But this is the first inside page, right? So these are all little goddesses, right? Along the edge. And then this is just a photo of the big collage that I made some time ago that I have here on the inside cover. So the first section is going to be an introduction to the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, the vision, the mission. What is the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence? Why the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence? Who is Cassandra, daughter of the Fates? Why daughter of the Fates? The next section is going to be crowning the crones. So this whole section is going to be the importance. So much is going to be in here. Yes, the importance of the idea and the iconography of the crone, how she has been demonized in popular culture. This is going to go into a lot of the Saturn studies that we have been doing since December 21st. But we've been talking about Saturn as the crone or great grandmother crone for almost 2 years now. But we've been going hard since about December 21st. So all of that is going to be in this section called Crowning the Crones, Welcoming Goddess, Newborns to Preteens, The Bleeding Healer. That is going to be about puberty in general and menarche in particular. Revealing the True Shapeshifter. This is about our introduction into motherhood, but it's going to have a lot in there, right? This one is I haven't titled it yet, but this section is going to be welcoming the return of the prodigal son or something like that. The return of the prodigal son, something to that effect. I'm still working on that. The cover, I still haven't decided. So I started with old school, like S making, but it's going to be this is going to be where I go hard on all of this research I've been giving y'all over the last 3 months about the significance of the letter S, of the lightning bolt, of all of this cryptic symbology that's hidden in plain sight. Why, what it's tied to, and what it means for us. How do we reverse the usage of it and that type of shit, right? So that's going to be that. And then the last section is going to be food for thought, right? So anyway, I'm giving myself until April 20th to release the zine. And my ambition is to do the zine release date and the website release date at the same time, because 90% of what's going to be in the zine is what's going to be on the website. It's just going to be a matter of me typing it out. And also be looking out, at least for information, because I told you I've been invited to submit artwork for this art exhibition. I have until Thursday to do that. So I'll be keeping you posted on the progress of that, what images I've chosen, that kind of thing. And if anything else comes up, I'll let you guys know. But send me an email if you have any suggestions, contributions that you can discuss with me. If anybody can help me with this damn Patreon that I have been laboring over and feeling really quite overwhelmed by it, email me about that. And until then, I'll keep y'all posted about what's going on between now and Wednesday morning. All right. Peace. And hopefully this was helpful. And share, like, and subscribe. Take care.